Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Can't wait for that Cowboy game this Sunday. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. I forgot. Maybe I dreamed. I dreamed they lost. I don't know.
Yeah. I told you it was going to hurt, Skip.
Yeah, I'm good.
The further you go along, the more it hurts.
Really?
Ooh, like jumping on a bike without the seat. Well, maybe it doesn't hurt that much, Jenny, but it hurts.
Really? Hurt not having those Chargers in the playoffs.
No. I don't love the Chargers like you love the Cowboys.
That's your best friend, Anthony Lynn? I don't know.
If that had been the Broncos, you might have a legitimate argument.
Oh, well, the Broncos have been home for a long time.
And guess who joined them on the couch?
Yeah.
Guess who's going to be watching Sunday game right alongside them?
I don't know.
Ezekiel Dak.
Yeah.
Dakota Prescott.
Yeah, and old Jason Garrett, he's going to get an extension. How are you?
Somehow he's sticking around.
Somehow.
Stephen Jones can hold up on that coaching.
Scott Linehan.
Yeah, everybody hold up on that.
Hold up on that.
Well, maybe you have more to say about that. But we have a lot more to get to on today's show. Is Skip's guy Kyler Murray making a big mistake? And how does Shannon feel about Tom Brady's new Instagram video? But hey, we are going to start with the Cowboys. Their season ended on Saturday, but now it appears the Rams might have had a big advantage. Two Rams offensive linemen told The Ringer that the Cowboys' defensive line was tipping their signals before up to 90% of their snaps. Rams center John Sullivan said, quote, "We had a lot of tips and tells on what they were going to do in front of us. That could be a big reason why the Rams rushed for 273 in the game." So, Shannon, do you believe this?
I do believe it. I'm surprised that there's a great chance you're going to see this team next year. Both of you guys won the division, and division winners normally face each other. Normally, you don't tell that situation, Skip, until after it's long past. But I do believe it, Skip. There are telltales, and you're always constantly trying to pick that up. You have guys, and that's their sole job, is to pick up tendencies. And when you watch 16, 17 games, you develop tendencies. Now, the Cowboys do a great job. They do a lot of twisting, a lot of stunting up front. And when you twist or stunt, what we mean by that, sometimes, Skip, the end will crash down, the tackle will loop around. In order for you to do that successfully, you have to stagger just a little bit. Now, maybe to the person at home, you can't see it. And maybe, unless you've seen enough of this on tape, you don't notice it. But like I said, when we had guys that break down tape, they look, okay, if you look at this situation right here, they're going to come with a stunt. Because you can see the end is a little further back and the tackle is a little further up. So that's tipping the guys off. But at the end of the day, yes, Skip, you can tip it off, but you still have to execute.
You do.
And when you rush for that many yards, not only is the offensive line doing a great job in the blocking game, your tight ends and your wide receivers, because you're not just getting 3-4 yards a clip. You're getting chunk plays. You're getting 30-yard runs. You're getting 12, 15-yard runs. And you need wide receivers to also contribute to the running game. So, yes, Skip, when you saw what they did to the number one rushing team, and you saw how they shut that off, the Dallas Cowboys, the week before, to have the Rams, yes, the Rams can run the football. Todd Gurley was, I think he finished in the top 5 in rushing. But they had somewhat gone away from that. But you know they got a good offensive line, Skip. When you get C.J. Anderson off his couch on a Wednesday, and he comes in and rushes for $170 on Sunday, and then he follows that up with another $130 on the following Sunday, and then he goes for 123. So that lets you know that you have a very good offensive line. Not to discount anything C.J. Anderson did in that game, but when you can rush for those kind of yards, when you haven't played as much as C.J. has, that lets you know. And to go for 273, the Rams are not known. This is a Tennessee Titans type game, Skip. They run the ball 40-plus times. You don't think of Sean McVay, the mad genius, the boy genius, is going to run it that many times. But clearly they saw something on tape that they were able to take advantage of. So do I believe it? Yes, they were tipping plays. And that's what you do. You look for tendencies and you try to take advantage of it.
To your first point, I've never been keen on teams that ran to the locker room after a big win and had to tell about all the tells that they had, because you will eat those words at some point. And I know 3 offensive linemen were talking to the reporter from The Ringer, because he had lots of on the record. These weren't these are on the record.
Right.
And to your first point, The Los Angeles Rams do have to play at Jerry World next year. It's a done deal because division winners play, especially NFC West is going to play NFC East division winner. So that will happen. So we can't wait to see you guys next year.
So you get another beat down.
Yeah,
Aren't you
get another
that?
beat down. Yeah, we'll see about that. But we'll see how much they're telling about their tells after that game. But to your point, maybe they did pick up a little, some secret tips that they saw that, maybe Sean McVay and his coaches are just better than Sean Payton and his coaches or Pete Carroll and his coaches, because I watch my team just shut down and virtually out the Seattle run game, which was number 1 in the NFL, and they had 22 at halftime on the way to 73 total. And then Sean Payton came in there, and they could really run the ball in New Orleans at that point in the season. They had a grand total of 65 yards at Jerry World and lost 13-10. So my team was doing something right in that capacity all year long because they wound up 5th in the league in stopping the run.
Correct.
So were the Rams just smarter and better? Because they had 170 yards in the first half. Mm-hmm. In all my years of following playoff games, not just for my Cowboys, but all teams, I've never been more shocked by how a team jumped out to a lead than that was. Mm-hmm. I just sat back in awe because this is the one thing, we did see it, and you brought it up. In Indianapolis, we saw it. When they had they jumped out to a 2-game division lead, and I thought they just sort of mailed it in Indianapolis because they didn't really have to win that game to win the division, but they mailed it in, and they got mailed right out of town in a bag because they got run over 178 yards total,
right,
but not 273, not 170 in the first half. So I still haven't recovered from that. I was dumbfounded by that. And that was obviously compounded by the fact that in the first half, it was a 20-7 halftime lead, and it could have been worse, you could argue. It also could have been a little closer without that 3rd and 14 all-time horrendously ticky-tack call, hands to the face on Byron Jones, and then the even more horrendous in-the-grasp call on Dak when he was in the grasp of his own offensive lineman, Lyle Collins.
Why was Lyle Collins way over there anyway? He the right tackle.
I don't know.
How you go clear on the left side?
He had to throw him open, so he threw him into the open. And it cost them at least 3 points and maybe 7 points. Mm-hmm. So despite all that, then we get to the second half, and I got to tell me, you can tell this one. I don't think the tells were working all that well in the second half because my Cowboys started to click. They started to shut down the run a little bit, a lot more than they did in the first half because Dallas outgained the Rams 189-168 in the second half and won it 15-10. So something started to happen in the second half.
Of the 168, 103 of them was on the ground.
100 yards they had in the second half.
Yeah.
But still, it was way better than 170 in the first half because you can live with 100 in the second half because you outscored them and you actually had chances to win the game when you had 4th and short, the first play of the fourth quarter, and you get stuffed with the most pathetically predictable call in the history of calls.
You remember Goff took 2 knees at the end of the game.
Okay.
So they could have added some more to it.
Okay,
because they ran the clock out, Skip.
They actually added on to it at the very end after Jared Goff was allowed to run for 11 yards on 3rd and 7 from the 28, which was the absolute dagger play in the whole game because you're about to get the ball back with 2 minutes left, and you're still only down 8 points.
You weren't going to do anything with it.
Oh, my quarterback who led the NFL and game-winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime over the last 3 years, I think I like my chances there.
You like your chances going into the game.
Okay, so what do I think happened? Maybe there were some secret tells going on. You know what I think happened?
What happened?
I think my defense just didn't show up for the first half because we've seen this consistently happen with Jason Garrett-coached teams. I'm going to say it again. Jason Garrett's a nice guy. He coached Clapp. He's going to be exactly himself every day, every week, every month of the year.
So you know that.
Okay? You know what you're going to get because he can't motivate his way out of a wet paper bag.
Okay.
But in this case, you need to get your defense ready. And maybe the whole focus probably during the week was we have to stop the pass. We know we can stop the run, but we got to stop the pass. So what happened against Green Bay? So lately, Jason Garrett's had 2 big playoff losses, one to Aaron Rodgers and one at the Rams. What happened in both of those games that reminded you of the other game? What happened?
Dak didn't play well early?
No, Dak played great in both the games. He played sensational
No,
in
he
both the
didn't.
games.
Stop saying
Here's
that.
Well, he just did.
He did not.
He outplayed Aaron Rodgers in that game. I can just show you the numbers. And what happened the first time against Aaron Rodgers? It was 21-3 Green Bay with 7 minutes left in the second quarter. That's how the defense didn't show up in that game. Whose fault is that? That defense hadn't played that poorly the whole year. Why didn't they show up? Is it Rod Marinelli's fault? Maybe, because I look at him as more of a motivator than Jason Garrett. Okay. This time I got to throw Chris Richard in there because did they just not get their front ready?
They like they gave Chris Richard an aneurysm. You see him on the sideline yelling at Van Der Esch.
But should you have been doing that yelling before the game to get them ready for the onslaught that's coming?
No.
Because I got to tell you, this is just me, and I've been covering this game even longer than you played it. What I believe about stopping the run, that it's more about fire and desire than about strategy. I get it. You got to have gap control. You blah, blah, blah. I know all that. But in the end, your heart just has to be bigger than the offensive line's heart. If you just attack harder than they attack you, you're probably going to stop the run. And in this case, everybody was on their heels from the first snap. Even my two kid linebackers inside. They're just falling backwards, right?
And
why
you
is
wanted
that?
Van Der Esch to play even more.
Okay. I did want him playing
Why?
more because he got them there. That's who got them there.
Jenny, did you know this? Van Der Esch had 4 tackles. They had 48 carries. He had 4 tackles.
Okay.
So what was he going to do? What was he doing those other 44 plays?
Well, who else had the tackles? Help me out. Show me a defensive lineman who had any tackles.
I don't know, right?
Nobody was tackling nobody.
They won't
That's
skate.
what was happening.
They won't skate.
It was the all-time humiliation and embarrassment. They are getting knocked 5 yards off the ball. Little bowling ball, C.J. Dickerson is just, he's got 15 yards before anybody's touching him. And again, my two linebackers, they're a little smallish. They're a little light in the behind.
Van Der Esch is 255.
He is not. He's skinny. He's long and skinny.
Yeah, he's 6'4", though.
I don't think he has his man body yet. But Jalen Smith may be a little bit better. But again, they need to be allowed to attack into the gap. They're just getting blown off the ball. They're running backwards, trying to chase people to run them down.
Where's that kamikaze style? You know Jalen Smith, kamikaze.
Okay, so once again, defense doesn't show up against Aaron Rodgers, but then my quarterback says, I got this. And he leads them all the way back against Aaron Rodgers to 28-all and 31-all. And it requires 2 intergalactic field goals of 56 yards and 51 yards to beat my Cowboys by Aaron Rodgers. The other night, all of a sudden, Dak throws them all the way back into the game. It's still an 8-point game despite 273 yards rushing. That's mind-blowing to me that he even got them back in a game. So why didn't you come out readier, and then why didn't you adjust on the fly? Because, okay, but think about this. Let's do in-game strategy.
Okay.
What's the best way to stop the run? Seriously, this is what I've learned about football. The best way to stop the run is to blitz the run. There's a thing called run blitz.
Yeah, it is.
Where you just attack. You have your backers just attack because you can't block, if it's 5 on 6 or 7, you just can't block all those guys. Did you see?
You want your secondary to hold up one-on-one?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if you just see that their design is we are going to run the ball down your throat, is it possible that at some point you say, maybe we should blitz this because we got no chance if we sit back?
I keep hearing you saying the defense. I just want to know where was Dak in the Green Bay game when they were falling behind 21-3? Because when Green Bay scores, the Cowboys get the ball back.
But you understand the game is played for 4 quarters,
exactly.
not 1.
Okay.
So, again.
So you lost 4 quarters.
The offense everybody got off to a shaky start against Green Bay.
Nobody, I didn't hear you say that.
Okay, remember, he's a raw rookie. He's never played a playoff game in his life, and his running back is a raw rookie. And they've not done any of this before, and he doesn't have the weapon that he has now. He didn't have Amari Cooper, and he still threw for 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. How do you get a team? Wait a second. From a 21-3 hole to 28-all and 31-all, that's all quarterback.
If you don't mind
all
me
quarterback.
asking,
if you don't mind me asking, how can you even question him?
Easy. I'm doing it right now. Let me show you. He was a raw rookie when they fall behind 21-3. But he wasn't a raw rookie when he led them to. You said he had the best rookie season ever.
He did.
Okay,
and he had one of the greatest rookie first playoff games. You go find a better one by a rookie.
He lost.
But he got him back to 31-all.
We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't get him.
How many times do field goal kickers make it from 56 and 51 in the last 2 minutes? Help me out.
Look at the difference.
And the last kick, he duck hooks it left, and I don't know why. It suddenly slid back right inside the left upright. I've never seen it like it. It's like hand of God.
Look at what happened on what was that Saturday.
Yeah.
Adam Vinatieri, the most clutch kicker in NFL history. He shanks an extra point, and he misses a 23-yarder. But he hits a 45-yarder in a driving snowstorm. Things like that happen.
Oh.
Okay, again, Saturday night, can you explain to me, how did Dak let him fall behind 20-7? Okay, the defense did an unbelievable job because the game could have easily been 28-7. Because remember, Skip Bayless, they shut him down twice with goal-to-goal situation. What was that?
They hung in there.
Okay,
they still gave up 170 rush yards in the first half.
Yards
How
don't
many
beat
games are you going to win giving up 170 rush yards?
Points beat you.
Wow. Yep.
How many games you gonna win when you score 28 points?
Well,
You see, I keep telling you, Skip. You keep talking about what the Rams' defense was. You got exactly what you normally get in the regular season: 22 points.
Yeah, and
That's
what was my prediction? I said they would win 23-20, so I needed my defense to show up and hold the Rams to 20, and if they had done in the first half what they did in the second half, what was the score in the second half? 15-10 for the Rams.
Yeah.
10 plus 10 would have equaled 20, and my team did score 22, so it would have been 22-20. Sue me, I missed it by a point.
Hold on,
right?
Hold on. So in other words,
I need my defense to show up when it's time. My defense started showing up in the second half.
They didn't do anything crazy because they knew you couldn't drive the ball to come back. But anyway, back to these tendencies.
Interesting.
You know, Skip, the Howie Long, who's on the show here, the pregame show.
Yeah.
I sent him early in my career. I played my first 3 years. Howie was a DT, DN, and played the 3-4 defense. For the Raiders, excuse me. I said it would have to cover his knuckles. You know why he did that? Because Howie learned that in order for the center to snap the ball, he had to squeeze it first. So Howie would get a jump because he saw the squeeze. Now the ball's coming.
Okay.
So you pick up tendencies. Remember, I told you, Skip, in '96 we're playing the Chargers. They're in San Diego at the time. Every time Junior Seau would check the Vegas or Reno, they would go cover 2.
Okay.
I'm like, Mike. They keep checking the cover 2. It would, no matter the formation, when we motion the guy.
Okay,
So
good.
Mike said, hey, 8-4, can you get down the hole?
Okay.
I said, can I? Against Kurt Govale?
Okay,
13
so I got all
points.
that, but I think it's a bunch of baloney because it's all about fire and desire. And let's get to fire and desire. My man, DeMarcus Lawrence Taylor, might have to start watching his mouth before games. Because before the New Orleans game, he got away with a quote that Jenny actually read on television.
I did my best.
I'm going to try to tiptoe through this quote just to remind everybody what happened before New Orleans, because he got away with this, but he said they're going to have to match our intensity for 60 minutes straight if you hit a
mofo
in the mouth, and then they ain't doing what they're regularly doing, putting up 50 points, they start to get a little distressed. Now you got them where you want them at, and then you effing choke their ass out.
Yeah.
Okay? That's DeMarcus Lawrence Taylor before the New Orleans game, and they backed him up 13-10. This is what he said last Thursday that seemed to really just detonate the Rams, because Talib was so upset about the quote I'm about to read that he F-bombed the middle of the Fox interview. Do you remember this? Chris Myers, after the game, he was talking to Jared Goff, and all of a sudden Talib just jumps in the middle and F-bombs it because he was screaming at DeMarcus Lawrence for this quote.
What Lawrence Taylor say?
Here's the quote. He's a quarterback. He's talking about Jared Goff. I don't like quarterbacks. My impression is the same. I go into every week wanting to take the quarterback's soul. When you get to look in a man's eye and see fear in his heart, that's when you know you've got him. That's how I play the game, and that's how we're going to dictate the game. Okay. Now, he said it in general about every quarterback, but somehow the Rams took it personally. All they put up on their bulletin board, so to speak, was that he's going to take Jared Goff's soul.
Yeah.
So
Haverstein said, no, you're not.
Yeah, that is correct. So I think that just detonated the whole offensive line. Oh, you're going to take our quarterback's soul? Watch what we're going to take your soul. And I believe Talib was screaming F-bombs for his whole team, because I think that's how they got ready for this game. The Rams were clearly readier to play in the physicality department.
How about this here? The Rams were clearly the better team.
I don't
you
think
have
they
yet
are.
to say that.
I don't
and
think
I
they
told
are.
you,
No.
I say, Skip Bayless.
The Rams were readier to play.
There's nothing like
The second half, it didn't show me they were the better team because I think Dallas was the better team in the second half.
Skip, there's tendencies. Yeah. I had a habit early in my career, Skip. When I was going out for a pass, I would sit like this. And in practice, guys says, okay, we got a flyer here.
Yeah.
So I had to learn whether I was going out for a pass or I was run blocking, I would put pressure on my hand the exact same way.
Yeah.
Because these guys are smart. They're not dummies. And think about now, Skip, you get less practice time, so film study is going to be key.
So I guess Doug Peterson didn't pick up on those tendencies in the Cowboy line, right? All those stunt tendencies, those tells. I guess not, right? Sean Payton didn't pick it up.
Hold on.
Wait, Pete Carroll didn't pick it up. Those are really good coaches. Those are Super Bowl winners.
Coaches. How many coaches were doing Spygate? So I guess Bill Belichick is the only one.
What do you mean doing Spygate?
How many other coaches was doing exactly what the Patriots were doing?
Well, I think he's the only one who just openly defied the rule and broke it.
But the thing is, Skip, look, there are times that Peyton Manning, we did this early on, where you listen to the game copy, you could hear the quarterback cadence, but you could also hear the defense making their check. That's what, let me ask you a question, Skip. If it doesn't matter.
Usually the tells are the other way around. It's the defense to the offense, not the other way around. Usually it works the other way, where the defense says, oh, we know if they do this, they're going to do that, right?
Some DBs, Skip, their formation, their pattern reads, you line up in a certain formation
you just
and you run certain plays.
Right.
But there's a reason why, if you notice, Skip, why do offensive and defensive coordinators do this? If they got nothing to worry about, if it doesn't matter.
Well, that's just lip reading. You know, if you can lip read on TV and you can signal it in.
They do. Not only but here's the thing, Skip. Not only you think it's about that game, but you got people that get copies of the TV game that's going to lip read when they play you.
Okay.
So that's about. It's not necessarily about what's going to happen in that game, because sometimes it is, because then you can make second half adjustments. But a lot of times, if I'm playing the Cowboys and I see Scott Linehan or I see Chris Richard calling plays without that board over their mouth, their mouth. Now I can make my adjustment to when I do play them.
So, after the 90s Cowboys played their first Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills and wiped them out, Norv Turner, then the offensive coordinator, told me the next week for a book I was writing that Buffalo had somebody with binoculars in about the third row, and they were picking up every play that he was calling. Every play, so that the defense just knew run or pass.
Right.
They knew run or pass, and you know what Norv said?
Right.
It just didn't matter.
Yeah.
We're just better than they are.
They were.
Our line was just too physical for their defensive front. We just blew them off the ball.
Right.
It didn't matter whether they're going to pass rush or run, try to play run. It just didn't matter. We're just too good.
Skip, you got those big hogs. I mean, that might be the greatest offensive line in NFL history.
It might be.
But the thing,
and they didn't care about any tells. They just knocked you off the ball. Whoever lined up across from you, it's all zone blocking.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Skip. They did get beat sometimes, and Emmett didn't always rush for 100 yards. So sometimes they got their butt whipped.
Not much, man.
Yeah.
Well, they should have won 4 straight.
Well, I don't know what they should have done. Yeah. But I don't want to. All I'm saying is, Skip, but there are tails. The question is, okay, when you pick them up, what can you do about it?
Yeah.
Because
well,
again,
I want to tell the Rams I can't wait to see you next
you
year
want
at
another
Jerry
butt
World.
cut?
Yes, I want them again. In fact, I wish we could play them tomorrow at our place.
No.
Then we'd just be telling all kinds of tales.
Y'all got a first couch buy. Y'all got a first couch buy. Y'all get to watch the rest of the playoffs, Skip.
Yep.
Where they watching the game? Where they watching the game at? You know where they watching the game at?
Where I'm watching?
No, the Cowboys.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know?
You know, if
I know where they won't be watching it.
They probably don't watch. They won't watch it.
From the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Really?
They won't be watching it from there.
Yeah.
They'll be home on their couch, as I told you they would be.
I hope they go along. I hope they win it all, because we'll see them next year.
You
and
will
the same result.
And you'll be
same
ready.
result.
You'll be ready.
You want to do on it?
Yeah.
You want to do right now?
Already.
Yeah, I'll take it right now at Jerry World. I'll take it
Right
right
now.
I got it.
I got a
Thank
case.
you.
All
You
right,
just
well-
give me due. I don't know why.
I take it away. I give it and I take it away.
All right, we're starting the year right.
take
A lot
it.
of bets is good. Well, I know the Cowboys are done, but your Patriots still going. And the last time the Patriots and Chiefs met, New England scored 43. Can Tom Brady do it again? Let's get their
Kansas
opinion.
City scored 40, but
Who won the game?
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here. More of the Undisputed podcast is on the way, but first, I wanted to talk to you about Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. They strive to make financial services work for everyone, not just the wealthy. With data presented in an easy-to-digest way, Robinhood is a non-intimidating way for stock market newcomers to invest with true confidence. Here's why I recommend Robinhood. No commission fees. Other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, but Robinhood doesn't charge commission fees. Trade stocks and keep all of your profits. It's simple. With easy-to-understand charts and market data, Robinhood allows you to place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. The Robinhood web platform also lets you view stock collections and analyst ratings of buy, hold, sell for every stock. You learn by doing it. Learn how to invest as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks and track your favorite companies with a personalized newsfeed. And you can create custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Best of all, Robinhood is giving listeners a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. Sign up at undisputed.robinhood.com. That's undisputed.robinhood.com to start investing today. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
The Patriots will be in an unfamiliar role at Arrowhead on Sunday as an underdog. The Chiefs are favored by 3 points despite losing 43-40 to New England back in October. In that game, Tom Brady threw for over 300 yards and drove New England down the field for the game-winning field goal at the buzzer. Patrick Mahomes threw 4 touchdown passes, but he was also picked off twice. Shannon, what did that last meeting tell you?
Well, these teams are closer than you think. The Chiefs made a lot of mistakes that helped the Patriots win. And what the Patriots do better than anybody else, they make you pay for your mistakes. And normally they make you pay double because not only do they take the ball away from you and limit your ability to put points on the board, but they normally go down the other way and get 7 points. They got 13 more first down, Skip. They had the ball 13 more minutes. They ran 22 more plays. And the Chiefs, if you look at it, they only had 5 penalties, but New England didn't have any. And when you play New England in their building, you almost have to play a perfect game. And Mahomes, they weren't very good, Skip, with a red zone situation. They were terrible on third downs. Patriots were over 50% on third down. And when you add all of that up, and for it to come down, when you run the ball, have 22 more plays, and possess the ball 13 more minutes, and you need a walk-off field goal to win, that lets you know just how explosive the Chiefs' offense is. The thing that I hate, Skip, about the game Sunday is that it's going to be in sub-zero temperature. I don't really think a football game should be. Just imagine if you played the NBA Finals and it was about who can shoot the best jumper in 10-degree weather.
I buy this. I don't like it either.
It's part of the game, though.
Yeah.
But with that being said, they made enough mistakes. They didn't really take away anything. I'm surprised they were able to get back into the ball game, considering, Skip, they were down 24-9. Pat Mahomes threw an interception right before the first half ended. They were going to get a worst case scenario field goal, so it's going to be 24-12. It ended up being 24-9 to start the second half. Patriots still have no answer for Tyreek Hill. They don't have an answer for Travis Kelce. But the Chiefs are going to have to make an honest decision with themselves. What are we willing to live with? Sonny Michel got what he wanted in the run game. Tom Brady got what he wanted in the pass game. You must take something away. If you let the Patriots run it, you let them throw it, you have zero. I don't know if is there a term less than zero? What's the lowest you can go?
Yeah, that's
There's zero chance you beat the New England Patriots if you take away nothing.
Man, I saw a different game than you saw back in, week 6, October the 14th.
Okay.
Sunday night at Foxborough.
Okay.
The harder I look at what happened, the more I think it comes down to Sunday night at Kansas City and maybe sub-zero temperature, Brady or bust. I'm going to say it again, and it's even scarier the harder I look at what happened on October 14th. This is the least amount of help Tom Brady has ever had, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because this night was staggering what happened, because the kid Mahomes threw 2 interceptions in the first half that put them in a hole. One Hightower took all the way down to the 4-yard line, so that's a gift.
Right.
And at the end of the half, he gave the Patriots another gift because they had it down all the way, what were they, 1st and 10 at the 15? Yeah, they were at the New England 15 with 17 seconds left, and he just wild-eyed flung it into the middle of coverage in the end zone. It gets tipped up in the air, and Deron Harmon comes down with it. So that costs 7 right there, if not just 3. So despite all that, it was 24-9 at halftime, the Kansas City Chiefs scored 31 points in the second half. That was the most second half points allowed, tied for the most, of any team in the whole league all year. 31 points at home in the second half. That is horrifying. And they came all the way back to, what was it? They led 33-30. So they took the lead 33. And how did they take the lead? On a special teams breakdown that allowed a 97-yard kickoff return that set up a little gift easy touchdown. So that put Kansas City ahead in this game 33-30. By the way, Kansas City for the game averaged 8.4 yards per play. Yeah. Per play?
Yeah.
That's horrendously bad defense. And by the way, they just kept on keeping on because it was 40-40 at one point. But after they went ahead 33-30, what was a turning point in the game? It was the 41-year-old quarterback running for a touchdown, if we could please see that, because it was something. Because he's obviously not much of a runner. We saw his 40-yard dash at the combine, all-time ugly 40. And here, again, Chris Collinsworth made the point that he thought that kid Breland Speaks, the second rounder out of Ole Miss, the rookie, thought he quit on the play because he's afraid he was going to hurt Brady or, rough him. And I think he just lost him on the play. And Brady said, I got this. I'm going to have to take it myself. Now, there was a defensive hold on the play, so it was going to be a first down anyway, but he did take it home. And I think it inspired the home crowd and the home team. And all of a sudden, they jump back ahead 37-33. Then there's a quick 3 and out. So I give the defense. That was the only time in the second half they went 3 and out. And all of a sudden, Tom Brady hits, what was that guy's name? Do you remember that guy named Gronkowski? He hit him that night for 42 yards that set up a field goal that put him up 10. And then here came, again, 75 yards to Tyreek. After that, a 75-yard pass, that's just like here. It's like a video game. Just hit the button and it's another touchdown.
Well, Skip, Tyreek is explosive. Okay. He's very unique.
Well, they don't have an answer for that.
No, they don't.
Because all of a sudden it's 40-40. And then guess who took over again? That guy took over again. That guy, number 12 up in Foxborough, that you just should never bet against because he goes 7 plays, 65 yards. He hits Edelman for 7. He hits Little James White for 16. And then he hits that guy formerly known as Rob Gronkowski for 37 yards. And that's it. That sets up the field goal, and they can just kill the rest of the clock, and they get a 28-yard walk-off field goal. So it's really just Tom Brady. Here it is to Gronkowski. It's just Tom Brady overcoming his defense and his special teams. That's it. That's the play of the game right there. That salts away the rest of the game with the 28-yard field goal. So the point is, if he doesn't throw for 182 yards in the fourth quarter alone, they're not going to hold off Kansas City because the defense is hapless. It can't rush the passer. It was second to last in rushing the passer. I know they got after Phillip Rivers. That was a shock. I don't think they're going to get after Patrick Mahomes on Saturday night in Kansas City like they did.
It's a lot easier to rush the passer at home than it is on the road.
I think it is. I agree with that.
But, Skip, there's a lot of mistakes. I mean, the Chiefs made some mistakes, too. You lose a game by 3 points, and you have 13 fewer first downs. You have the ball 12 and a half, 13 fewer minutes. You run 22 fewer plays. You're 40% on third down. You're 35, 40% in the red zone, and you only lose by 3. I've said this before, Skip. I've always felt it's easier to win a game after you lose and you play that team again in the same season than it is to win. Because what mistakes did you make? I mean, you can say, we could play better. Yeah, you can play better, but Tom Brady was almost flawless.
Okay, so his leading receiver on that October 14th Sunday night was Rob Gronkowski, who caught only 3 balls, but for 97 yards. Do you think Gronk will have 97 yards worth of catches at Kansas City on Sunday night? I don't think so. I just don't think. I think he's a broken down shell of himself. Yeah. He caught 1 ball the other day, and the whole stadium went crazy like, oh, we remember him, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, sure.
Do you trust this? And by the way, Josh Gordon played that night and caught 5 balls for 42 yards. At least he was a threat.
Remember the one he caught between the two where he went up over both of them and caught the ball for a touchdown.
So at least he he was drawing attention in the secondary, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
He is obviously no longer a New England Patriot. I think Rob Gronkowski is basically no longer a New England Patriot. So now it's down to Edelman and James White. That night they caught 4 balls and 5 balls for 54 yards and 53 yards. Okay, he just kind of mixed and matched it. Chris Hogan caught 4 balls for 78 yards, so he did a little more damage. Can those 3 do enough damage at Kansas City? I don't know. And how much better can the defense play at Kansas City on Sunday night than they did on October 14th? I just don't know, because Sammy Watkins wasn't much of a factor, and all of a sudden he's breaking back out for them. He's starting to really cause problems.
Well, the thing is, James, Sonny Michel, you know,
he's been there most of the year. Yeah.
He's going to run the ball really well. But Tom Brady, Skip, listen. Tom Brady the thing that you have to love most about him is that he doesn't try to have, y'all give me the short stuff. Oh, y'all want to take away everything deep. Well, I'm going to go deep. I'm going to show you I can get the deep ball. Tom said, okay. Y'all want to take away the deep stuff? Okay, fine. Guess what? We'll go down the field 5 and 3 yards at a time and get the same result if we were to go 60 yards in one play. We feel that comfortable in what we do. Because normally teams, Skip, you want them to drag this thing out. The longer you go, the more apt I can get a sack, I can get a tip ball, I can pull the ball out. But the Patriots does such a great job of holding on to the football, and they don't beat themselves. So they'll methodically go down the field, 10 plays, 12 plays, 15 plays, punch the ball in the end zone where you need 1 or 2 plays, but they don't give you the big chunk plays. It's hard to defend this team, Skip, because they got 2 dynamic playmakers at the receiver position. They got Tyreek Hill, and they got Travis Kelce. I call him receiver, but he's a tight end.
He is.
Who do you take away?
I don't know.
Because if you double those 2 guys, do you really want Sammy Watkins going one-on-one with someone?
I keep telling you, Brady doesn't have a Tyreek, and he doesn't have a Kelce, and he doesn't have a Sammy Watkins. So you've got 3 weapons that he doesn't have.
Well, he used to have them.
Huh?
He had Gronk. And when Tom Brady was playing them, you didn't say the opposing quarterback didn't have Gronk or he didn't have a 29-year-old Julian Edelman. But now all
that
of a sudden,
was back when Brady had Gronk and he no longer really has Gronk.
But you didn't make that. All I'm saying is that you didn't make that argument for the opposing quarterback.
Well, he had somebody in the past, right?
Were they
now,
Gronk?
He doesn't have much of the receiving cores left in the playoffs. I think you'd say this is probably the worst one, wouldn't you? Again, is there a Michael Thomas here? I know New Orleans doesn't have much after him.
Right.
But they have a Ted Ginn Jr. Brady would take Ted Ginn Jr. on Sunday night and be really happy with him.
No, Ted said, I don't want to play in that one.
No, he doesn't. Well, that's right.
I want to play in that dome. I want to play in the dome.
Okay, so all of a sudden, how can Brady, remember, what does Kansas City do the best on defense? They had the most sacks in the league, right?
Yeah.
So they got Brady twice in that October 14th game, and Breland stripped Brady on one play in the third quarter, and he lost a fumble.
Right.
So they got a lot of heat on Tom Brady, and the Patriots got no heat on Patrick Mahomes. So can they flip that script?
Because the thing is, it's hard to rush a guy because Coach Belichick doesn't like to really rush guys like Pat Mahomes because he got legs and he'll jump out the window and he'll go down the field.
He likes to get outside the pocket.
Yes, so Coach Belichick normally he likes to play straight down a man. Let's keep everything in front of us. Nothing cheap, nothing deep. And we'll see what happens. If they can go 16 yards, drive in, drive out, and get the ball in the end zone, we'll live with that. But we just don't want to give up the big plays. Now, the Tyreek skip, that's a very unique situation. The dude just basically catches a 15-yard pass down the field. His feet hit the dirt, and he pieces out the safety because there's too much separation between him and the DB.
Wow. So my takeaway is it's Tom Brady or nothing.
It's
but it's just him alone. I don't know.
But so how do you think the defense played? How do you think the defense played on Sunday?
They did okay until the second half when Phillip Rivers started doing what Mahomes did in the second half. He started torching. Phillip Rivers threw for 210 in the second half. Guess what the second half score was at Foxborough on Sunday? It was 21-6 Chargers. I know it was a rout at halftime, and I know they just sat back and said, we'll bend and bend. But they broke a bunch of times.
So let me ask you a question. So you want to, at 35-7, you want to take the same risk that you took to get that lead in order to keep that lead?
We have seen defenses in the past in this league. I can start naming because they all have nicknames to them. If you gave them a 35-7 lead at halftime, it probably would have been 35-0, and then they would just shut you out. You would have no prayer in the second half.
But this
defense can't do that.
But no, but they normally, those defenses, Skip, they have a one guy that can go get home.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that. I mean, their best pass rusher is 93.
Flowers.
Yeah, Flowers. And they got decent pressure.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if they can still muster that kind of pressure on my homeboys.
As long as I got number 12, I got a chance.
I got the MVP.
I have to agree with you, Skip. I agree with
thank you, Jenny.
How can you not root against Tom Brady? Think about experience. He started 18 seasons. Mahomes has started 18 games.
Yeah.
I mean, those two numbers.
And one guy about to be
I'm not going to take full credit
and
for
one
it,
guy
but-
about to be the MVP in his second season.
Really?
How long did it take Tom Brady to do that?
Is he going to be the MVP on Sunday night?
Yep.
Is he?
Oh, my homeboy.
Who do
My
you like in
experience.
Sub-Zero? I think I'll take 12 in Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
Tempo.
when you've
I
been there
won't either
before,
one.
you've gotten it done in the past. Sorry, Shannon,
that
I'm with
thing-
this guy.
No mercy.
We have been following Kyler Murray and what he may do, his future for really the entirety of this year. But yesterday, Kyler Murray officially entered the NFL draft. The Heisman Trophy winner is projected to be a first-round pick, but he still has 3 days to pull his name out of the draft. Reports say Kyler can still play baseball, but he is, quote, determined to play football. The A's have already given him a $4.6 million signing bonus, but Kyler was reportedly looking for additional money to pick baseball over football. So, Shannon, has anything changed in your mind about this story?
No, he should follow his heart. It seems to me, Skip, his heart is in football. I believe it is easier for him. Now, for me, Skip, I believe it's easier to play baseball and go to football as opposed to trying to play football and says, okay, I'm not very good at this. I'm going to go play baseball.
Really? Okay.
I just believe you can do baseball first and then come back to football. That's just me. I've never played baseball at the highest level. I've never played baseball at any level. But that's just because if the hardest thing to do is hit a baseball, when you've been doing it your entire life, can you imagine taking it off 3, 4, 5 years and then trying to pick it up again?
Well, Tim Tebow did it, but other than that,
Is
he's extraordinary. He's
Getting
special.
to doing it.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Thank you for
I
being the voice of reason, Jenny.
Getting there.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know if he's
getting there.
quite there.
And I don't think anybody is thinking that Tim Tebow is Kyler Murray on the football field or the baseball field.
Nobody thinks
Okay,
that.
well, so stop it. Look. It's reported that he had already filed the paperwork on Friday.
Yep.
So I don't know.
For the draft.
For the draft.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what this meeting was about.
I don't either. It's desperation.
Skip, if your heart, you'll never be wrong
Yep.
if you follow your heart.
That is correct.
Follow your heart, young man. If football is where your heart lies, there's not an amount of money, there's not a figure, a dollar amount that will ultimately make you happy. Because if you choose baseball, when your heart is in football and you do it because of money, you'll always look back and think, man.
Okay? Yet, you did say consistently for the last, 6, 8 weeks that in a vacuum, you'd tell him to play baseball,
I would,
right?
yes.
Just on money factor, injury factor,
Yes.
longevity
Yes.
factor, right?
Yes.
Okay, and are you still there?
No, but Skip, I didn't know where his heart was. But let me Skip. And the more I listen to Scott Boras and all those talk about he's going to be in spring training or he loves baseball, he made a commitment. You never heard him say that.
No.
Those were people around him talking about what he loved and what he was going to do.
Okay.
True.
This action tells me that football is a very, very high priority. As a matter of
is.
fact, it's a higher priority than baseball because he already got money. Skip, baseball gave money in his hand. So he got to forget the bird in the bush. You got the bird in your hand.
You're going to have to give the bird back, right?
Yeah.
So he said, I want the two birds that's in the bush, which is football.
There are two birds in the bush. That is correct. I've said all year long, this young man will be happier playing quarterback in the National Football League. There's no rush like Sunday NFL rush.
No.
You know it. You miss it. If you could snap your fingers and go back there, you'd go back there, right? There's just, you can't even approximate what it feels like. There'd be World Series rush, but what are the odds on Kyler getting to the World Series or even to the playoffs? Or even, for that matter, to the big leagues?
Yeah.
I'm still not sure about that. But I'm much surer that Kyler Murray can be at least as good as Russell Wilson is, even though, believe it or not, Russell Wilson is at least 2 inches taller than Kyler Murray. He's not stouter than Kyler because Kyler packs a wallop. Now, he can take, he's durable. I'm knocking on wood for him.
Sure.
But he has proven to be durable, at least in college football, for the 1 year.
Right.
So he can take a lick. He can dish a lick occasionally. He's built wider and stronger. Mm-hmm. It's why in baseball, he's a power hitter.
Right.
Okay, just for the record.
Mm-hmm.
So what has cinched this for me is the irony is that baseball's desperate pursuit of Kyler has actually fueled the rise of his stock in football.
Yes, right?
Because there's now hysteria about Kyler Murray. And now I'm seeing even the draft analysts. I saw Mel Kiper on ESPN say he's going to project Kyler to go at least as high as 13 or 15. That's the Dolphins or the Redskins. And now I'm looking at the top of the draft. Let's just think about this. Arizona's got the first pick.
Sure.
And again, I've told you from the start. Now that if they hired Cliff Kingsbury, would it be a shock if they took Kyler Murray? They already did one shocking thing, right?
Right, hired him.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's about as shocking as you could get of all the hires. So would it be any more shocking that they traded Josh Rosen because Cliff Kingsbury believes in Kyler Murray and take him 1 overall?
Right.
It wouldn't shock me.
Nope.
The Raiders, would they part ways with Derek Carr?
Well,
with
Skip,
John Gruden?
if
They're at 4.
If John Gruden loved Tim Tebow
Yeah.
and he loved
did.
Johnny Manziel,
He loved
he'll
him.
marry this kid.
He loved him. Yeah, and you're right. I was going to bring that up, but he did on both counts.
Right.
I know because he told me that for a fact. Okay? Then we got the New York Football Giants sitting there at 6. Would they think, I know it's not their sort of cup of tea. It's not what they do. They seem like a drop-back, hardcore, cornerstone organization. Would they try this? I don't know. They might. Would the Jaguars try it at 7? They might. And
Jaguars try anything.
okay, they might. And then your Denver Broncos are sitting there at number 10. If he's still there, would they think about it? Would Elway it's not what John Elway did.
No.
Would Elway see
If
that?
John will take, look here. If the dude, if John thinks the guy can help him win
That
a
is
game,
correct.
John is taking it.
Okay.
Now his last 2 quarterbacks, Skip, he swung and missed badly.
Yeah, but Case Keenum's more like Kyler. He's a smallish,
Yeah, but-
overachieving type, right?
John said yesterday he's a stopgap.
Okay.
He's a bridge.
All right,
He's a filler.
I got it, and I agree with that. And by the way, Case Keenum was a better fit in Minnesota than he was in Denver. He was like,
True.
sometimes it's horses for courses. Yeah. Sometimes it's like Nick Foles. Maybe Nick Foles will prove to be a much better fit for Doug Peterson and what they do than he would be somewhere else.
Correct.
But he really fits what they do.
Yes.
Okay? And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals. They finally parted ways with their longtime head coach, Marvin Lewis. They're going in some new direction,
Kyler
we
said
think.
you're not going.
Okay.
If Cincinnati draft say I'm not
He
going
says,
to
I'm not
Cincinnati.
doing it?
No.
Really? Okay. Well, okay, that could be. But then we get to, as I told you, you got Dolphins and Redskins at 13 and 15. Well, my point is, that's the top half of the draft. I will bet you he's going to go in one of those places.
Skip,
Isn't that good enough?
And so you name 10 teams. Mm-hmm. You only need 1.
Yeah.
What do I need all these teams to like me? I just need 1.
Okay.
I don't need 15 million girls to like me. I just
Okay.
need 1 to love me.
Okay, that is
That's
correct.
what you need. You don't need
know.
all these teams to like you. You need 1 to love
But
me.
remember,
True
all 15 of them will guarantee you considerably more money than that 4.66,
Well,
right?
hey, I mean, you figure Baker Mayfield got his entire salary guaranteed at number 1. That was $32 million. You normally get a 10% raise over the previous year.
Okay.
So that's 30, 35, 36 million this year.
Okay, so what's the hesitation? It's like it's done. It's a done deal. He's going to play football because he was born to play football. And I'm not saying he can't play baseball. When I look at the numbers from he played 2 years of college baseball.
Right.
So last year, his second year, his sophomore year, so to speak, in college baseball, he hit 296 for the Oklahoma Sooners. Not bad. His on base was really good because it was almost 400. And Billy Beane loved Moneyball, was all about on base percentage. So that's high, and that's why Billy's eyebrows rose.
Sure.
Ooh, I got this. And then you throw in the on base plus slugging is almost up to 1,000. That's really good. So he has a good eye, and when he connects, it travels.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
And
look
he got
at
speed, Skip.
okay.
Athleticism,
You look at some of the smaller players in baseball. Mookie Betts might be the best player in baseball. He's 5'9" tall, right? Jackie Bradley Jr., same team. Boston Red Sox is 5'10". Andrew McCutchen is 5'11". So
Jose Altuve might be
okay, that's
5'5".
enough. Okay, there you go.
that. Love him.
And remember the great Joe Morgan, although he was a second baseman as opposed to a center fielder,
5'7",
but he was 5'7". 5'7", so it doesn't matter. And I go way back to one of my favorite players of my youth, the toy cannon of the Houston Astros. Do you remember Jimmy Wynn? Is this before your time?
Before my time.
Okay, well, he was hitting 30-plus homers, I think, 3 years in a row, but he was a slugger, the toy cannon.
Well, how tall was Biggio? Biggio couldn't have been no big man.
5'7", I would say. Yeah.
So
okay. I don't think Bagwell was more than like
Right.
5'10" or 11.
Right.
Okay, so baseball is the one sport you don't have to be tall in.
No.
It used to be you needed to be X height. You know, it's like they needed to have a Disney ride thing where you know, to play
measure-
quarterback,
oh, yeah,
to measure your
you
height.
can get on.
You can't play this position, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But in this case, we see it go smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, Kyler Murray is going to be the shortest quarterback ever. I'm pretty sure ever.
Yeah.
Is that a red flag? Is that cause for concern? Yeah, sure. But what did we see him do last year? He put up numbers. Again, statistically, it was the greatest season any quarterback's ever had. Do you attribute that in part to Lincoln Riley's spread offense and his play calling? Maybe. Weapons? Yeah, they got weapons everywhere.
Well, that was the best season until Tua. Watch what Tua does.
Yeah.
Tua throw 50 and 5 this year.
Okay. Well,
You're back on
Heisman.
Tua. Back on Tua. Can't
Really?
get him all
Heisman,
stuff.
do on it right now.
Tua's been losing games.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't Skip. The man lost one game in his career.
He kind of lost two, but
No, he
they,
didn't.
they saved
He
him on the
won
one.
it. What about the one? What about that national championship game? He didn't get credit for that one.
Yeah, which
Against
one?
Georgia.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
I was gonna
came
say
back.
which
I'll
one.
give you that one.
That's on Hurt's resume, but
But
you know.
he actually took the L against Georgia, and then Jalen wiped out the L, right?
Well, Jalen was about to take the L, and then he wiped it out.
Huh. Well, I don't know. I think Kyler could be better than Tua in pro football. I don't know. Tua's got that flinch in him. He's got a little.
Don't do that, Skip.
Got a little
So
nervous in
different,
him.
too.
Yeah.
He gonna win the Heisman next year.
Okay.
We're
We'll
gonna
have
be
to
right back.
see.
It'll be us and Dabo and them. Dabo's team, Clemson.
Right here.
I don't know. They might not make it back after eating all them Big Macs and fish fillets and Wendy's.
Well,
Whole different topic.
Wait a second. I think Clemson now has the quarterback, right?
Oh,
that-
we get it.
Yeah.
Size
I don't know.
isn't
I
gonna be
don't
a
think.
factor for
How's
that guy.
Tua going to hold him off for the Heisman?
Easy.
I don't know about easy.
Well, see, if he'd have just been playing in the fourth quarter, we'd have had like 50 tubs.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I mean, all them games, we only threw 5 passes in the fourth quarter.
If he played in the fourth quarter against Georgia, you took a big L.
You know what, Skip?
Well, it's
Pretty
true.
miss college
It's the
football.
truth.
You
Yeah.
guys keep it fun around here. All right, but what about James Harden? You guys see what he's been up to lately?
Man.
I mean, is he now the
This
best
is just-
player
this is just
on the
crazy.
planet? We'll discuss his huge night next.
No mercy.
So James Harden continues to torch the rest of the NBA. He had a season-high 57 points in the Rockets' win against the Grizzlies last night, and he's now scored 30 or more points in 17 straight games. Harden scored a franchise record 36 points in the first half, and it seemed like a lock that he would reach his career-high 60 points, but he was taken out with about 3 minutes left in the game. But Shannon, how impressive was this performance?
It was very impressive. He's unbelievable, Skip. He's never gonna wow you with efficiency because he's gonna put up a bunch of shots. He's gonna miss a bunch of shots. But I don't know if I've ever seen anybody score the basketball as effortlessly as he can. Because Skip, on an average night, he's gonna shoot somewhere between 12 and 15 free throws. He's gonna probably make about 88, 85 to 80, maybe 90%. Last night he was 17 of 18. Earlier this year, he shot 27 free throws. He made 21. So he's going to get that. Now, the only way you can hope to keep James Harden from getting to 30 points is that you hope he has a night like he had the 2 nights earlier where he goes 1 for 17 from the 3. But then even when he does that, he's going to shoot 20 free throws, and he's going to probably go something like 5 of 17 from the field. So he'll be, 10 for 34. But when you shoot 20 free throws and you make, 18 of them, 17 of them, Skip, you're going to get it 30. But Skip, he shot 37%. Can you imagine him having a night from the three-point line like Steph Curry just had, where he goes 11 of 18, with as well as he can get to the free throw line, as well as he can finish at the rim? I thought last night, Skip, legitimately, I tuned in and I just wanted to I was like, you know what? He's going to get 70. And I want to say I saw another 70 because I caught Kobe's 81-point performance because it was the Sunday night after the Broncos had lost to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
I said, you know what? I want to see another 70-point performance with my own eyes. Didn't see David Robinson because that wasn't on television. I said, but I want to see this because that's what I thought he was going to get. But, he kind of cooled off and then he picked it back up again. Skip, it's unbelievable what this guy can do. And what's making what he's doing so unbelievable, take any player you want, the best player on any team, And then I want you to take away his next 3 best players because he's playing without Capella, he's playing without CP3, and he's playing without Eric Gordon. So if you love Russell Westbrook, if you say he's the best player, take Paul George, Steven Adams, and Jeremy Grant away. If you like KD, take Steph, Clay, and Draymond away. And see if they can do what James Harden is doing.
I agree.
Because that's what makes what he's doing is so unbelievable, Skip. How, and granted, look, the Grizzlies at one point in time, Skip, they were leading the West. They're not that same team anymore. But what James Harden is doing is unbelievable. I don't know if I could see anything like this. Not the efficiency, because he's going to shoot, 12 or 38. He might shoot 11 or 35. But Skip, how effortlessly he gets to the rim. And they're calling everything. Oh, if you look at James Harden, you looked at him? Oh, that's a foul. Go shoot 2 free throws, James. That's ridiculous how he get to the free throw line, Skip. He's shooting more. I bet you James Harden is shooting more free throws than some teams.
I know he shot 44 more than the second place guy on the list, Joel Embiid, and he's made 63 more than Joel Embiid, who's second in makes. Well, that's just staggering. That's impossible. We're not that deep in the season.
Yes.
To me, off all your points, this was James Harden's most amazing performance yet.
Wow.
I have to put an asterisk, regular season performance, because I need to see more of this when it really, really counts in the postseason, because I haven't seen enough.
You like this better than the 50-point triple-double against the Lakers?
I do. And I'll tell you why, because of circumstance. He actually played back-to-back the night before.
Right.
So they lost at Orlando and lost Capella at Orlando to a broken wrist 4 to 6 weeks. And James had shot 1 for 17. It's hard to shoot 1 for 17 because most coaches wouldn't allow you to continue to jack it up at that rate, right?
No.
How many would get 17 attempts and only make one without getting yanked or shut down or told no?
Right.
Just quit.
Yes.
Right? 1 for 17. So you're reeling mentally from that, psychologically from that. You have to travel, and now you're facing a Memphis team. I know they've been struggling, but they're still 6th in defensive efficiency. So they have good, sound defensive principles.
They got Gasol.
They do, and Conley Jr., and they know how to play.
Right.
And they got some athletes who know how to play. Kyle Anderson, the expert. These guys know how to play basketball, and they were no match from the start.
No.
Because he scored 36 in the first half.
But they needed them, Skip. They were only up 6 points at the half. They only had 54.
I know. Well, to your point, CP3 has been gone for a while now, and Eric Gordon's been gone for a while now. And so you got our guy Austin Rivers as your new sidekick, and Austin's playing really well.
He is.
Plays along with him great. They play off each other great. But this was mostly just James saying, I'm psychologically tired here a little bit. I'm probably physically tired, and I could go for 81 tonight if I had time to go for 81. If it hadn't been a blowout because it got away.
Right.
Because remember, he scored 57 in only 34 minutes of playing time. He only played 3:36 of the fourth quarter, 3 minutes and 36 seconds. What if D'Antoni just let him go?
Right.
Could he gotten to 70? Probably.
And think about it, Skip. Nene had 2 points.
Okay.
P.J. Tucker played almost 32 minutes. He had 5 points.
Okay.
You're playing with Donnell House Jr., who was in the G League. Well, I think
he's actually played pretty well this year.
Well, they cut him, Skip, and then in December they brought him back.
I like him, but go ahead.
And so you look at all these guys, you're like, guys playing 16 minutes and getting 0 points, 7 minutes get 0 points.
Yeah.
It's basically him or bust.
It is. I mean, they got Gerald Green going last night.
He got going from the 3-point line.
He made 4.
And Austin Rivers, like you said, Austin Rivers has played really well for him.
Yeah.
And he normally plays the best. He always takes the opposing team's best player.
Yeah.
He's their Trevor Ariza.
But there's always one big glaring number down the stat line for James, and that is turnovers.
Oh, yeah.
He is going to turn it over
Fair enough.
at as high a rate as he shoots free throws.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's just going to try this and try that. And
Between the legs, behind the back.
Green light, no problem. He shakes it off. And he had 9 more turnovers last night. So for the year, he has 224 turnovers, and that is 52 more than the second place in turnovers.
No, he only had 5 last night, Skip.
Yeah. Who?
Harden.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at it.
You were looking at his
I
rebounds.
was looking at
true.
rebounds. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
he had
sorry.
5.
He had only 5.
Right.
But
he had 5 with 13.
Okay, but he has 52 more turnovers than Trae Young has. Oh, that's interesting. That's runaway. And then to your free throw point, how hard is it to make 17 of 18 free throws? To me, it's just psychologically, you just get mentally tired after a while where you just can't keep concentrating because you have to, you got to really lock in and feel it and stroke it, right?
Okay, he goes 17, but he shot 27 in the game. Mm-hmm. Who shoots 27 free throws? I don't even know. Maybe Wilt.
Yep.
Maybe Shaq at one point in time, Skip. But I mean, to shoot that many free throws, and like you said, when you have that kind of green light, Skip, when you don't have to worry about anything. I mean, James Harden was getting the ball sometimes last night, Skip. He would bump into the guy, step back, and shoot the three. And he did it like 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, then Tony, you're not gonna say nothing? But what's there to say? Because it's either him or nothing.
Well, he still took 15 last night.
He did.
But he made 6. So he actually, what I loved was, and I was impressed by, he made his first 2 coming off 1 for 17. Well, that's pretty good.
So in other words, he's 7 for 32 in his last 3-pointer attempt.
Correct. That's correct.
And it's like, okay, that's good. That's good, James. Keep it going.
Keep it going. Yep.
Because he's unbelievable, Skip.
He's going to get you 57. He's all you got, and that's enough, man.
And he got a 54-point game against the Wizards this year. He's just been, like I said, the efficiency. I mean, I see his stat line. He's 13 of 38 one game, and he's 11 of 36 another game. And I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah. I will give him this. He was in more attack mode last night because he had to be, and he couldn't attack for the lob to Capella.
Right.
He had to attack to get to the free throw line, and he did.
He did.
Right? So you got to give him that.
I watched a lot of James Harden games, Skip, when he was the 6th man of the year. And you know he had offensive game because a lot of times, Skip, they let him go. He run that second unit, and again, he could get to the basket with anybody. But anybody that tell you they saw this from James Harden, they're lying. Nobody saw this.
When he was at Oklahoma City.
When he was at Oklahoma City.
He killed my Spurs, I got to tell you
Yeah,
that.
but Skip.
He killed them.
Skip,
he was a clutch shooting, dagger shooting, 3-point shooter then.
Skip, he's averaging 36 a night.
I know.
I mean, Jordan averaged 37. And we talk about that was spectacular. Kobe averaged that year, he averaged 81. He averaged 35. But they didn't get the assist. This guy's averaging 36 and giving you 8 assists tonight, Skip.
Yep. He's a magician with the basketball. He really is.
He doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
Nope.
We'll be watching him. All right, is Antonio Brown done in Pittsburgh? James Harrison
he'll know.
knows the situation very well, better than anyone, and he will give us his take next.
No mercy.
Well, have we seen the last of Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh? Last week, Steelers president Art Rooney said it would be, quote, hard to envision Brown as part of the team when they report to training camp in July. This follows Brown being deactivated for the Steelers' last game of the regular season. And yesterday, 49ers legend Jerry Rice was asked about AB and said Brown wants to come to San Francisco really bad. The Steelers would have to take on about $21 million in dead money if they were to trade him. So we're joined by FS1 NFL analyst James Harrison. And James, you have been so close to this story. I know you and AB are close. So what does he want?
I think the big thing is, without me speaking for him, because when he comes over, we really don't talk about situations of this nature. But I think he wants to get the same respect and I guess I would say right to speak on situations as other players.
Being?
Is that fair?
I'm not saying that. Like I'll let Antonio. Like he said, he would speak on that situation if that time came and he wanted to.
Okay.
But I feel like the whole situation has just got to a point to where I think it's unrepairable. Like you said, you had Art, Mr. Rooney come out and say that, he doesn't, see him there in, in training camp. Mm-hmm. And winning covers up a lot of things. And right now, the team didn't win. They didn't make the playoffs. So now anything that isn't status quo as what you would normally see in other teams is being brought out, is being pointed out, and now it's becoming an issue because, like you said, winning covers up a lot.
It's time to move on. AB needs to be somewhere where he feels respected and he's willing to give respect to the head coach. And I'm not talking about Ben's situation because the Ben situation is out of line. And I always felt that, Skip. I felt that when Ben called him out and said, well, Antonio he ran the route wrong, you never do that because I believe Ben could have said the exact what he said publicly to keep and kept the peace, he could have said privately, because that's what that would have done. Because now he's saying, "Oh, you threw the interception. It's my fault."
Yeah.
So that's what Ben was saying, because Ben is always trying to escape blame. Now, Ben, quick, finger pointing Ben, he's the worst leader you could possibly have, because this is what you need to happen. You need your best players to be your best leaders. And if that happens, everybody else will fall in line. There's one reason New England has enjoyed this success. Not only is Tom Brady
That
great.
is a fact, and you know this as well as anybody.
No question.
Yeah.
Not only is he great, he's your hardest worker, and he says, he always say, I need to play better.
Yeah.
There are things we need to do.
He's a good soldier, too.
Not
He's a
that
good soldier in the
I
locker
wanted.
room, you know?
What happened last year, Skip,
Yeah.
against New England? Todd Haley. Well, they wanted me to spike it, and I didn't want to spike it.
No.
I didn't agree with the call. Antonio ran the wrong route. So, Antonio, it's time's up. Sometimes, Skip, you just wear out your welcome in a place. It's okay. It happens. Antonio Brown needs to be somewhere else where a change of scenery will do him good. He has to start over, and he'll give respect no matter where he goes. I believe, if he goes to San Francisco, and I know Kyle Shanahan because I played for his dad, Mike, for a number of years. He'll command his respect, but what he will do, he'll put Antonio in a situation, and this is the way Mike has always been. The number one guy is going to get his attempts. And I felt that maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just see things, but maybe I'm just an old football player, but it feels to me that Ben went out of his way to make sure Juju had a few more catches, a few more yards, to put Antonio I really control this situation.
You might be right, but strategically.
Hey, Jay, don't look at me like that, see?
I'm not looking at you.
Don't look at me like
I'm
that.
watching you.
I'm just
paying
old
attention to what you're
football.
saying. I'm listening to you. I wasn't there. I'm trying to see if that sounds like, I don't know.
But obviously, Antonio is better than Juju.
Yeah.
He's got more resume than Juju.
Yeah.
So obviously, he was drawing more double team than Juju, and so it was strategically probably optimal to say, I need to get him the ball more in single coverage, right?
Skip, think about when they didn't have Juju, and AB caught 138 balls. They didn't have Juju. Antonio caught 129 balls.
That's fair.
So if you want to get somebody, the one thing.
Well, it's like Michael Thomas. Sometimes you just can't cover him. I don't know. He's all you got, and you just can't. You can triple him, and you can't stop him.
If I want to get you the ball, Skip, I can get it to you.
Yeah.
If I want to.
So what do you believe from what you heard from your friend Antonio? You're kind of a mentor, big brother to him. What do you believe about the speculation that maybe Juju being voted the MVP of the team just stuck in Antonio's craw and caused this final game issue?
I wouldn't say it would have caused something like this, but at the end of the day, I think it may have rubbed him, a little wrong, a little raw, because like you said, he is the one drawing doubles. He is the one, making situations easier for Juju to be able to get, the balls and the yards that he got. So I think he may have been felt a little slighted by it, but at the end of the day, I don't think that's the number one thing that caused all this. Like I said, it's a whole big situation that has just balled up into one huge boulder.
As far as you know, does he get along with Juju okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not a problem. They're not clashing personally in the locker room, as far as you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you realize he's still got 2 years left on his Pittsburgh deal. The money falls some. It's $15 million, then $11 million. So he got the upfront. He got his $19 million. It was a good deal.
Yeah.
And you were not sold on giving him the deal to start with after.
Well, I felt they should move on because I knew this was going to be a problem. I just felt they should move on.
That was off the Facebook Live in the locker room
in Kansas City.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you have issue with that, or what did you hear?
Yeah,
about that?
I didn't think it was nowhere near close to the right thing to do.
Okay.
Wrong situation,
Fair
terrible
enough.
timing. Yeah.
This is just my gut feeling, and I agree with everything you just said and you just said, and it is time to part ways. I don't think the Steelers are gutsy enough to part ways. I think they're too afraid of how good he still is, and he's going to be 31 next year, so it's not like he's a young pup anymore.
He got years. He got years to go.
But it feels to me like Art Rooney would be afraid to let him go, unless somebody would just bowl them over with the first rounder or something, because you're going to have to trade for him. The 49ers have
somebody
to give up.
second round pick,
Okay.
or maybe a second and a fourth.
But maybe a high first, you'd say, I just got to do that. But from what I read in Art Rooney's, between the lines quotes, he did say at some point, maybe Antonio drops by the office and we sit down and talk this through and we kind of see where his head's at. Well, that didn't sound like the door was slammed.
He said everything was on the table but releasing him. So And then he came back with he didn't see him there in training camp. So that if you don't see him there in training camp, then you don't see him there.
Yeah, but then he was talking out of both sides of his mouth. I'm not sure.
I think it comes to this. Like you said, if they can't get what they want for him, then we're going to try and mend this and do what we can to try and make this right.
But their way is to mend. They try to mend. They try to keep it together.
Well, you can mend it if you let Ben go. If you trade Ben.
Want to bet
Ben
against
that? But Ben is the issue. That's the big.
Okay,
that's
but
the chief
who
issue.
always wins between the quarterback and the
always
receiver?
wins.
Always
I'm just telling you that, Skip. I'm not in the locker room. I don't talk to anybody in the locker room. But let me tell you about a guy that's been in the locker room and has been a receiver. The issue is Ben Roethlisberger.
I got you.
And his
I don't disagree.
Ways.
I got it.
Another issue was it might have not been the coup de grace of this, but Antonio feels betrayed by his teammates because he said, y'all see me out here getting these double teams. Y'all see what I'm doing every single week. Oh, so y'all just gonna disregard my hard work and go, okay, I see what that's how y'all want it. That's how y'all gonna do it. Okay. Don't worry about it. We good.
So describe Antonio that you know. If you had to tell somebody who'd never met him, describe what he's like as just a guy. How do you see him?
He's a good dude, man. He's a hard worker. Like you said, he's going to grind. He's going to go out there, give you everything you got. But at the same time, he's a receiver. He's going to want his number of catches. He's going to want his number of yards. And, he's going to want all the accolades that come along with that. That's AB in a nutshell.
Can he be a little thin-skinned? Can he take it a little hard personally when when he feels slighted?
Personally, I don't. I guess I would have to say at times everybody can be, yes. So,
sure.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Definitely. It depending on the situation and, what is going on that led to the whole, of it becoming ahead. Yeah, definitely.
So what do you know of his relationship or lack thereof with the head coach?
That is a relationship that, like I said, it's a situation where he lets or allows certain things to go on because of the player that he is and what he gives to the team. Tomlin has a saying that he's going to treat everybody fair, but he's not going to treat everybody the same.
Exactly.
So
nor should he.
So. With that being said, you give an inch, some people will take a foot. You give a foot, some people will take a yard. And I think it's got to that situation now where, he's allowed so much, and now he's trying to back it off you can't do it. And now that you're not winning, all of that now comes out.
Let me tell you what the really great ones do, Skip. When they know they have privileges from the head coach and the organization, they don't take advantage of them. That's what the really good ones do. Shannon Sharpe know he was treated differently. So did John Elway, so did Terrell Davis. But we were on meetings on time. Not because, if we late a couple of minutes, Mike's going to forgive it. If we don't show up on time to the plane, Mike's going to forgive it. But you set the precedent for everybody else. Because everybody's watching what Shannon does, what John Elway, what Terrell Davis, what Ross. They're watching. Because guess what? Those young guys in that locker room, one day they're going to be a 5-year vets. They're going to be the 8-year vets. And if they saw you do it in year 8, year 10, what do you think they're going to do? I can't wait till I get to year 8, year 10, because I'm sure going to show up late.
Yep.
That's just the way it works. And that's what has happened. Coach Tomlin has let these guys skate on some issues.
He has.
And because they're good, he let them skate too far, and now they're too far out there for you to rescue.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying just these guys. It's been other guys you know what I'm saying? It's just that it wasn't, Le'Veon Bell. It wasn't Antonio Brown. Like they made a big deal when Le'Veon missed like a walkthrough on Saturday. Right. Well, I know another guy that missed it, but you never heard a drop about it. But that's because it was Le'Veon Bell and they were going through their situation and they were trying to make him look bad.
The guy that missed it, could he
let's
throw the
let
ball?
it out. Excuse me?
Could the guy that missed that, could he throw the ball?
No, he couldn't. Not at the drop. Wasn't even a starter.
Yeah. But that's what happened.
All right.
But whose fault was that? Mike.
Like I say,
Mike, you got to put that in check.
Okay.
though, right?
Speaking of Mike, I've said for years on TV from a distance, I like him because I like his press conferences pre and post game. Sure. He makes me feel like I want to play for that guy. I did not love the way he treated you in the end in Pittsburgh, which led to your parting ways. But is it possible that he's run his course in Pittsburgh and he needs a change of scenery? Because I still think he's a really good head coach.
I think he's a good head coach. I wouldn't put him as great because, I feel like a great coach takes good players and does great things with them. I think he has great players over there, and he hasn't done good things with them this year. So, with the roster and the guys that he's had over there, I think they should have been a little further along. My feeling is this: the more control or the more that he has to do with what goes on around there, I feel like the further the team is getting away from the goal of a Super Bowl. I feel like the more he gets like his people in place and the more he gets the people that he wants there, I feel like they're getting further away from the goal. That's just my feeling.
Mike Tomlin is a defensive guy. Why isn't the defense better than what it is?
Why isn't it?
Yeah.
That's something.
That's his side of the ball.
That is his side of the ball. That is no question about it. And he has a lot of say on that. So, that's the big thing. Like, everybody wants to jump on Butler. Coach Butts is.
Well, at first it was the other guy they ran up out of town.
Right.
Your guy. What's the guy, the D coordinator that he went to
Dick LeBeau.
LeBeau.
At first it was him because his own list, it was no good, so they got him up out of town.
Well, I felt like that the Dick LeBeau situation was a move to try and, like you said, get him out of there so Tom could put more of his hand into it. And it, like I said, Coach Butler he's a great coach, but I don't feel like he's got, at least from when I was there, he didn't get the chance to de-coordinate and actually do the job. He had it in title. That's
so you said Mike Tomlin do?
Mike Tomlin's hand is in a lot of that. And that's why I believe you haven't seen a change on the defensive side of the ball too much, other than letting guys go that, their contracts are up, because he has so much of a hand in that defense.
He let Peasy go.
It feels like all the
I know why he let Peasy go.
Need to be figured out.
I know why he let Peasy go, don't you?
Why he let Peasy go?
You know why he let Peasy go.
I don't know.
You're having this side.
Didn't even let Peasy go.
Sure.
What about Peasy and Big Ben? What happened?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't there.
Okay. Who knows what he's thinking?
I don't know what he's talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Tell the truth, James.
Okay, it's good to have you, and it's good to have you for this next one
Yep.
about Tom Brady.
Here we go.
As he silenced all of his critics. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Well, Tom Brady is all about being the underdog right now. His Patriots will be an underdog against the Chiefs on Sunday, and after beating the Chargers, he said, quote, "I know everyone thinks we suck." Yesterday, Brady posted a video on Instagram using 50 Cent's song, Many Men, to call out people who want the Patriots to fail. Let's take a listen.
Monday, January 14th. It's great to be working on a Monday. Great team win. We're on to Kansas City, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
I love it so much. I've watched it so many times, and I know you feel the same way.
She can't quit
He's
watching it,
just
Shannon.
smiling.
like
He can't help it. He's just happy to
How
be
many
back
times
working.
did you watch it, Shannon?
This is my first time seeing it.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Okay, we are joined once
I
again
wanted to run longer.
by former
This time already.
Patriot James Harrison. I know I'm hoping you saw that video as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did the video tell you? What did you make of it?
And by the way, you spent the end of the year last year in that locker room.
Exactly.
That guy.
Yeah. He's just poking at him a little bit, letting him know he's still here. Letting
Poking
Shannon know
you.
he's still here. Like, here, Shannon, I'm still here.
My homeboy got some for him on Sunday.
Many men, he says. A lot of them.
Maybe that song should be one man, right?
One man. Shannon Sharpe.
Nah, I ain't bother nobody.
Yeah.
I don't wish ill on him. But what he's saying is that many of the critics, the pundits, not just me, but this team, want us to go away.
They do.
And we're not going away. Guess what? I'm in the weight room on a Monday morning getting ready for a Sunday night game for an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. And many men want to see us fail, but it ain't happening. Tom doesn't need motivation. When you get to, for me, the game, when you get to this point of the season, knowing that I'm one game away from my ultimate goal, and that's playing in the Super Bowl, I don't need no motivation. I don't need nobody to tell me to watch extra film. I don't need nobody to tell me to get no extra treatment. I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. Because at this point in time, this is one of these self-driving
You
cars.
don't need it, but it helps to have that little bit of everybody wants to see you fail. It's a real thing up there, like where they say everybody, like us against everybody, like it's real. Like you really, you really see it. You really feel it.
You feel
like
it?
you feel
And to
it.
go on the road, There's nothing like going on the road and winning winning a championship game on the opposing team's home field. Because guess what? They pull out that let you celebrate.
Stomp all over their field.
What?
Emblem.
What? Yeah. And the crowd. Now all of a sudden, where y'all going?
Quiet. Everybody gone.
Hey, we getting ready to celebrate. It's a party you invited.
Look
Don't
like
nobody want to come to the party.
15,000 fans. That's it.
Don't nobody want to come. So I get it, Skip. I get a Tom. Okay, having fun. I mean, he having fun at Charles's expense. My Super Bowl team went up in flames. They went out like some goats. But that's okay.
You brought it up, not us.
But you know what? Pat Mahomes will have one of them on Monday.
Think so? He'll post?
Yeah.
Okay. I know this was nerdy and corny and lame and all the things that
I'm glad you know
well, it
that.
just is. It just is. He's smiling for the camera. He's walking on the treadmill, I think. Wasn't that what he was doing?
Yeah.
He's walking on. He's not lifting weights.
He's warming up.
He's just warming up. And yet, all of a sudden, some lyrics start up, and I'm like, what? Because that's an old 50 Cent
He don't know
song.
about no 50.
He knows 50. It's
That's
from his
50.
debut.
50.
You know, that's...
He practiced that, yeah.
I said 50, and it was from 2003, because that was his debut album.
Yes, it was.
And why did he choose it? Because that first line of those lyrics of the song Many Men is, many men wish death upon me. That's pretty strong from Tom Brady. So all of a sudden, the corny, nerdy got undercut by that line. That's pretty hardcore, and it gets harder core.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he bleeped some of it out, but he's trying to show that everybody's after him, especially because they're tired of the 41-year. You're tired of him. You just want him to go away.
Well, you got to get him, Skip, because he starts it all. He's
starts
the head.
it all.
He's the head of the snake.
Yeah.
The head.
Yeah.
Body or die, they say.
Okay. So he's showing you that I know what's up, but I'm going to be there, and it's going to be fun because this is fun for him. This is why he still plays. This is why he still lasted to 41. He jumps out of bed. This is like Christmas morning, even though he has to go play in sub-zero up in Kansas City.
Listen, Skip, I'm up there, and it was like the snowstorm they had. It was crazy, like the crazy blizzard. And cats are like, man, we really got to go outside. And Tom goes, hey, stop complaining, let's go. He takes off out there with just the little sleeves and all that.
This is just for
practice. For practice. Yeah. Like it was nothing. I'm not gonna lie. Like that cold there helped in the championship game. Like it was like hot. I was like sweating on the sideline because it was only like 2 below instead of like 15 or 20.
Huh. He leads the way.
Yes, definitely. Like I said, real.
You impressed him?
I love it.
Shen, you can't listen. Believe me, I was a guy I wanted to hate this dude like with a passion. I get there and I'm like, dude, he the ultimate teammate. And you know how you watch? I'm like, yeah, he just putting on a show. And I'm like, dude, the practice squad dude, he's treating like he's been there 10, 12, 15 years.
So would you
rookie.
say?
I'm like, oh my God.
Is Tom Brady the truth? I think he's the truth.
Hey man, he the truth. I'm not gonna lie, he the truth.
How many gifts he gave you?
Ultimate.
How much he paid you to say
He ain't paid me nothing. Believe me, listen. I told him in the locker. I told him like he's getting taped, right? He's sitting on the thing. He's getting taped, and I was like, I wanted to hate you when I got here.
What'd he say?
He just started laughing. Yeah. So I was like, you can't, dude.
Skip, I met the guy. I mean, look.
You gotta meet him, hang around. You can't dislike him. Ultimate teammate.
I've met him on several occasions, Skip. He is really a great dude. I can't take that away from him. I saw him. Saw him at Tom Ford. I saw him at Tom Ford at retail shop. I saw him at Zania, and I met him a couple of times off the field. He's really a great guy. I'm tired of all this winning.
Tired.
You are.
That's what
that's honest. That's the first burst of honesty.
Tired of it.
Tired of it.
It took you that long to get that out.
Tired of it.
Took
now
you
I
that
need
long.
my homeboy to do what he's supposed to do. Now he gonna show you about the MVP. Skip and already got some do bet on this.
We don't have any do bet on MVP. I would
No,
be that
no,
stupid.
no,
he's talking about
on the game.
On the game.
We haven't bet on it.
Oh, we
yet.
already got it. Though.
We haven't
It's
decided on the
understood.
points.
It's no, don't do
I
that.
said what's understood don't need to be spoken.
No, it's understood.
Really?
Yep.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. That's
we
for
there.
Friday.
Oh, we been there.
I don't know.
The moment that Tom Brady was in the AFC Championship game,
Really?
we were there with the dude.
Automatic.
Well, Brady didn't have a Travis Kelce. He didn't have a Tyreek.
You didn't say
he
that when
didn't
he
have
had
a
a
Sammy
Gronk.
Watkins.
When he had a Gronk, you didn't say that.
He didn't have the number one pass rush to back him up in all.
But he get to
football.
go against a bad defense though.
Yeah, exactly.
Except they can rush the passer.
Yeah, but they
They're
can't
number
do it.
one in sacks.
Okay, I tell you
Number
what. This is
one.
what I do. I tell you what. I give you Kelsey, you give me Coach Belichick.
Okay, I'll do that in a heartbeat. Because Brady would shred Kansas City if he had Travis
Now with
Kelce.
Belichick, he won't.
Shred.
Talk to him, Jay.
Belichick?
Talk to her, Jay.
I don't know if I'm gonna make that trade.
Yeah. I'm making that trade right now. Belichick's defense gave up 31 in the second half to my homeboy and gave up 41 to Nick Foles in the Super Bowl.
What did that defense give up? What did that defense give up to Brady? 41-year-old Brady. With no Travis Kelce. With no Tyreek. And with
500-something yards, wasn't it?
Thank you, 500.
182 in the
And
fourth
no
quarter.
Kareem Hunt.
You're making his case as the GOAT of GOATs. He's like beyond GOAT. We need a different term for it. That doesn't even do it
Only
justice.
Coach Belichick can come up with a plan, a scheme like that.
Really?
A scheme like that, say, you know what, this is what we need. We
A
need.
scheme
Yeah,
came up with 500 yards of passing.
No.
Shannon.
Against Tyreek now.
Oh, okay.
Against Tyreek.
Tyreek?
Yeah.
How are they going to stop Tyreek? Who?
It's cold.
That's like grabbing a cheetah.
It's gonna be cold.
That is exactly right. That's a good line.
He gonna
like
need
that.
that. He gonna need that.
Is Stephon Gilmore going to be able to grab that cheetah?
He gonna play off. You ain't coming him man to man. You put your in a game like this. You set your ego aside. All that stuff. Oh, I take him one-on-one. No, you don't. No, you're not. We gonna play coverage.
Kind of like he took Keenan Allen single coverage the other day.
Yeah, man got bit. He got beat on a double move.
I don't know what he was doing. He just kind of lost his head for.
No, he bit on a double move. I mean, the ball's gonna come out quick. You know they're getting pressure on him. You know the ball's got to come out.
Well, he might be biting on triple moves this time.
No.
Because this guy's got
Tyreek
quadruple moves.
Tyreek don't need to run no double move. He runs straight up by you.
Nah, yeah. Yeah, you better play him for the deep ball every time. Just
Every time.
As soon as they say go, you just turn your back, start running, hope he don't catch it.
And hope he's running that and don't run the comeback on you. Because with that kind of speed, you can just run stops around all day. Because they're going to bail up out of there.
Maybe hope my homeboy throws it wild high because he does that occasionally. Yeah.
It's going to be cold out there.
Yeah, it's cold. Hard to throw in the cold.
Sub-zero, they say.
He used to throw it in the cold.
Almost as we speak, Tom Brady's probably in the locker room saying, we're going outside. Let's go.
I hope we get
They're probably
Let's go.
already at practice.
another
go.
video every day.
It's
It's good to
11
get your
o'clock.
stories, James.
Might be lunchtime.
Yeah.
Oh, so y'all eat lunch before you go practice?
Yeah.
You used to do that too. You used to do that too.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, you better
I
eat.
brought my food from home, but I had a meal light.
You did?
Yeah.
Gosh, you're so strict.
Because I needed to know.
I wish I had that
See,
in me. I really
here's the
do.
thing. When they make food for the table, the training table,
Yeah.
they cook for 500 people.
I know.
I ate for one. I know what was in there.
Okay.
I know the carbohydrate, the protein that I was getting,
Well,
so I could bone out.
That used to be.
Yeah,
No, you know what?
I don't think anything's changed. Both of you guys and you.
You can barely
too,
get down to
James.
do a push-up now.
Just a little tough elbows, man.
I know
You
Skip
when
and
you get
I
50. I want you to
appreciate
talk to me when you get
your
50.
Brady stories, James.
We
you guys
do.
can talk about your
Very good.
workouts and food later. So, is Kyler Murray's future brighter in baseball or football? We'll discuss the latest next.
No mercy.
Back to the NFL, or maybe baseball. Kyler Murray officially entered the NFL draft yesterday. The Heisman Trophy winner is projected to be a first-round pick, but he still has 3 days to pull his name out of the draft. Reports say Kyler can still play baseball, but he is, quote, determined to play football. The A's have already given him a $4.6 million signing bonus, but Kyler was reportedly looking for additional money to pick baseball over football. We're joined by Rob Parker. And Rob, you've said Kyler should play baseball. So is he making a mistake by picking football?
Most people don't have an option,
Right.
so this is a very unusual spot to be in.
Extremely.
It just is, because it's usually one or the other. But I think he would be making a mistake not to pick baseball from this standpoint. I know he won the Heisman, but he didn't win the Hype Man Trophy of the Year. He's going to have to, as that size, play quarterback in the NFL. And I'm not saying it's impossible, it can't be done, but for the most part, it's an uphill battle of trying to play that position.
Sure.
You've even seen Drew Brees tippy-toeing, trying to look over the line to be able to throw. And obviously, he's had a great career, and we know there's been other guys. But here are the reasons why. Health, money, and longevity. If you can play that game, baseball, and you don't have to deal with the health issues that come with it, then you should grab it. It's not like this is the A's don't throw around $5 million just to throw around $5 million. Right. They really believe that this guy can get there. And it's hard. Skip, hitting a baseball. Hardest thing, Shannon, were you able to hit a baseball?
I was not.
Yeah, most guys can't hit a baseball. It's just hard to do.
I didn't try, but I'm sure I could have.
You think so?
No, I think so.
But here's the other battle, I think. And I look at Deion Sanders came out, play baseball. This guy who
He said he would pick a bat up and not
Yes. And this is a guy who won a gold jacket.
Yeah.
A Hall of Famer, considered one of the greatest DBs ever, right? Okay. Russell Wilson, he's won a Super Bowl. He says he'd play baseball too if he could. Russell Wilson, what? Skip couldn't hit. Couldn't hit. Would have loved to have played baseball.
Good field, no
right.
hit.
Just
Second
couldn't
baseman.
hit.
Yep.
And then I look at this. This is like a broader thing. I really think this is a bigger moment than just for Murray. Because here's a guy who's got all of that appeal and pop on social media, and kids are watching this.
They are.
It's a big moment.
Absolutely.
And I think that this could be a big victory for baseball, only from this standpoint. If he does pick baseball, I just hope the kids out there who have been brainwashed, you hear me? Brainwashed that the only sports they can play are football and basketball. It's such a disservice. Go look at the history of baseball and black people playing. That's our game too.
Yes.
Baseball.
You used to dominate that.
Okay?
Yeah.
Also, there's a thing that used to be called the Negro Leagues, where all these great, don't tell me black people don't play baseball. But what's happened is a lot of these people who are on the outside trying to get these kids, they want the next LeBron James or Mike, and they tell these kids, you can't play anything else. All these great players have played more than one sport. He's an example that you can. You can play more than one sport. You can try to excel in baseball and basketball, or in his case, Murray's case, football. So this is a big moment right here. I think if he does pick baseball, it could send a signal that there are other options out there. I think he would be smart to take baseball.
You know, to your point real quick, it always surprises me when I look back at Kyler's high school that he played baseball because so many black kids and white kids and kids of all color just fell out of love with baseball because it's just too slow.
That's right.
Football's faster. Basketball's way faster.
More buzz.
It's just more buzz. It's just more fun.
No doubt about it.
Right?
But I had a nephew who was an all-star baseball player and a good basketball player. And I just remember the AAU coach. No. Basketball 24/7. And that's why he stopped playing. And a lot of kids are pressured that way in that, well, you really want to make it, you got to put everything into it. And that's just not true.
Right.
You can play more than one. And that's my thing. So
It's a good
this is a
reminder.
big moment. Yes.
Go ahead, Skip.
I saw a stat to debunk one myth that you're making about money, long-term money, bigger in baseball. It can be, but not often is it, because I saw a stat on ESPN that more than half of the active NFL quarterbacks have earned at least $10 million in their career. That's the whole batch of them. And that only 28% of the current outfielders in baseball have earned more than $10 million for their career. That's because a lot of them are young and they're still on the first 5 years, and you haven't struck it rich yet. Because if you're good and you like Andrew McCutchen, he just keeps striking it rich because he's really good, and he's only 5'11" inches.
He just
tall.
got $51
That's
million, right?
And again, he's a short guy. Mookie Betts is what, 5'9"?
He's a star.
Yeah, and he's a star. And Jackie Bradley Jr. is 5'10".
How tall is Mike Trout?
I don't know.
He can't be more than about 5'10", 5'11".
He
might be 6 feet.
Yeah, he might be 6 feet. But then I saw another stat that current quarterbacks, 11% of them in the NFL have earned $100 million or more in their careers, because those are the top of the list, right? Only 5% of current outfielders have made $100 million or more. My point is, if you're playing that position in the National Football League and you have some longevity to you and you're a star,
if you're a star,
you can make.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Skip.
Okay.
But if you have longevity and you're a star in baseball, how much can you make? How much is Mike Trout? How much is Giancarlo Stanton? How much is Bryce Harper?
Okay, I'm sure.
That's the equivalent.
I am sure.
Right. That's the equivalent to the quarterback.
I got you. But I'm more sold on Kyler as a football star than as a baseball star. Again, I told you earlier, he played 2 years of college baseball at the University of Oklahoma. It's pretty high level in the Big 12, but he was not a star, didn't make an all-star team. He hit last year 296. His on base was almost 400, which is why Billy Beane said him.
That's why they love
And his on base plus slugging, because he's got power attached to speed, was almost 1,000. So that's why they're like, oh, there.
Yeah.
They're projecting.
That's what they're looking for.
Okay, but it didn't it didn't manifest itself last year. It wasn't like he dominated the sport,
Right.
because I'm sure Mike Trout all the way up, he's just dominant.
Right.
Every level, every high school, he's just going to dominate whatever level. This kid is still trying to find his way in baseball. In football, he simply had the greatest statistical season in the history of college football. So I can see it. I've told you, on the football field, I've never seen quicker feet than this kid's feet, including Barry Sanders, because it's just spectacular what he can do with his legs and his arm. And his arm is above average. He can fling it, man. So we saw what he could do in football. He did win the Heisman Trophy, and baseball's desperate pursuit of him, because they need that star, has actually fueled the rising stock in football.
I agree with that.
And so now Mel Kiper's projecting him to either Miami or Washington at 13 or 15 in that's the top half of the first round of the draft. And then we went over this earlier. Arizona's got the first pick. They need a quarterback. You could argue, although Josh Rosen, whatever. Raiders at 4, Giants at 6, Jaguars at 7, your Broncos at 10, and the Bengals at 11. All are candidates to pick a quarterback. Well, you look at the field. Dwayne Haskins, I like. He really, certainly against Michigan, he was sensational. So he'll be up there in that group somewhere.
And he played good in the whole game.
He did.
But Skip, you also have to factor in, a lot of guys have failed who were Heisman Trophy winners as they made that transfer over to the NFL. It's not automatic.
It's not automatic, and history doesn't dictate that's going to happen again this time. But he will be the shortest quarterback in NFL history if he starts games for somebody.
Yes.
So I still believe in him because he's got stature to him. He's not skinny short. He's got stature. He can take the licking. He can keep on ticking. He's got he's got durability to him in football. Can you get hurt faster? Sure you can in football. You can get hurt in baseball sometimes too. But in the end, you look at the other quarterback candidates, Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. I've watched all of them, Will Greer, Ryan Finley.
So you're saying maybe if this was last year, you would look and go,
you'd say, I don't know about last year.
Do you know what I mean with that crop of...
This year it's between him and Dwayne Haskins for who would go first in that early batch.
If given a choice, they'd probably take prototypical.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're probably right.
Probably, 6'2", 6'3"?
You're probably right.
Big kid.
But Cliff Kingsbury was on record, again, at Texas Tech before they were about to play Oklahoma. I would take him with the first pick in the draft, Kyler Murray. Well, does he still believe that? I don't know.
Josh
Maybe.
McDaniels took Tim Tebow, too. What'd they get him?
I got him playoff.
No,
win.
he
got him fired in Denver.
That didn't get him fired. Tim Tebow wasn't playing yet.
That up.
At the end of the what's going to make the kid happy, Skip? Where is this?
Well, obviously his heart is
okay, well,
playing.
then go. Forget the money. Take money out of the equation.
Okay, I'm taking it out because I'm convinced he would be happier. There's no rush like Sunday rush for a quarterback, especially, even for a tight end.
There's nothing like running out of that tunnel.
No, there's just nothing.
You run onto the field. And when they all run onto the field, they cheering for everybody. You run out that tunnel, they call your name at tight end from Savannah State.
Right.
Man, 80,000 fans go crazy. Oh, man.
And let me throw this on top of it.
Wait, I put that work in.
Okay. Endorsements. Again, he could be a big baseball star, but you're not going to land any endorsements when you start off in Stockton in high A ball because you can't sell that. Would Nike give him a deal? They probably would as a baseball player. But again,
because he has name recognition already.
Yeah.
If let's just do the hypothetical. If Arizona takes him number 1 overall, how many endorsements will he get? He'll get a bunch.
Yeah.
Because he's the next it kid, right?
Big Nike deal probably. Well, some shoe deal. They're probably going to get like a drink, sports drink, nutrition.
It's already going to happen, probably. I'm surprised.
And it's funny. I don't
Probably a
find him,
step ladder company, too,
Maybe. Well, you could be right about that. He would probably go along with that. He doesn't have, as you know, he doesn't have big charisma off the field, but he has big charisma on the field.
And I think it's in him.
Yeah.
I think there's that confidence in him,
But
but I think it will come out as we see more of him, too.
Shannon, are you surprised, though, that, like the football players who have achieved well, like, when you hear this, Deion's not like some guy who just had a cup of coffee in his
I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, he says it all the time. If he could, he'd play. If he was the equivalent
Of what he was in
football, baseball, no question. He's like,
I don't really get it because he was simply the greatest cornerback in the history of football. So how would you walk away from that?
No.
Imagine.
It's amazing.
Being considered one of the greatest outfielders of all time. All that money.
Is that because that made him happier? Did baseball make him happier?
I think, you know what?
Did it frustrate him more where he wished he could have been a bigger
Yeah,
star?
because he wanted to master that.
Yeah.
Because time rolled out of bed, he's going to run 4-2.
Right.
And he's going to cover
It's
the
too
best
easy.
receiver.
I know.
He was going to roll out of bed and do that, and he had
Maybe.
to really, really work at
I know.
baseball.
Well, you
and,
do.
and the really great players, they like to work. They like a challenge.
Yeah.
That's why so many of them play golf after it's all said and done, because they can't master it.
Yeah.
Because it's totally different. You might hit the ball tremendous one day, and next day go shoot 115.
How well I know.
Good old Shay Sharpe go out there and shoot 80 all the time.
Shay Sharpe has never touched the
golf.
golf.
I haven't,
Yeah.
but I can beat you.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
couldn't beat your brother.
Make that
No,
happen.
no, you play all the time.
Yeah.
Rob, loved your point about the idea that how he's played 2 sports can help him. And parents want to focus on one
Yeah,
sport
I played
now.
2, I played 3,
That
yeah.
is
Yes,
that
you
is
play
not
more than
it's
one.
a
You
good
get more.
reminder.
It
I
is.
thought that
More
was nice
muscle.
to think
you
about.
develop all your coordination,
Yeah.
hand-eye, and dexterity, yes. Don't just
Makes
play
sense.
one.
Yeah. And
All
you
you
get sick of it.
build up is one muscle group.
Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Did the Rams know the Cowboys' defensive signals on Saturday night?
Wait a minute, did
We'll
the Patriots
discuss.
give it to him?
I don't know. Someone did. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Well, the Cowboys will not be in that game because their season ended on Saturday. But now it appears the Rams might have had a big advantage. 2 Rams offensive linemen told The Ringer that the Cowboys' defensive line was tipping their signals before up to 90% of their snaps. Rams center John Sullivan said, quote, "We had a lot of tips and tells on what they were going to do in front of us. That could be a big reason why the Rams rushed for 273 yards in that game." We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Mark Schlereth. Mark,
Yeah.
this is true.
Uh-huh.
How much did it help the Rams?
Well,
you played offensive line.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, I mean, it's certainly, there's no question that it's a help, and we all tip our stances to some degree. I mean, if you ever played against me, you knew if I was pulling, you knew if I was coming off the ball, you knew if I was going to pass set. I tip my stance. Everybody does to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. If you come into a game plan where you're playing against a zone team, a wide zone, and the Rams, as much as Sean McVay likes to call it the illusion of complexity, right? We're going to show you a lot of stuff, a lot of window dressing, a lot of motion, but we run 18-19 handoff. I sat with him, Shannon, and he said, hey, listen, all we do is run exactly what you guys ran in the 90s. Yeah. That's what we do. That's our zone running game. Now, I will tell you this. You can tip the stance or you can tip what you're doing, and that's an advantage to the offense. There's no question. But the way Dallas approached this game, trying to run stunts in the running game is the worst thing you can do for a zone running team, because you create a situation where you're telling me as soon as you pinch, man, it's my read in a zone. If I'm working together with Shannon and you pinch, I pass it off to Shannon and I go to the next level. Or if I'm working with the center, I pass it off to my center. I take the next level. And essentially what happens to you is you take one guy out this way and then one guy's looping around. He takes himself out of the play, and it's like the parting of the Red Sea. And what you saw on a consistent basis was the Dallas Cowboys just getting absolutely thunderstruck right in the middle of the football field, just eviscerated, because they're trying to run games to stop a zone running game. And you can't, that's the worst thing you can possibly do.
Where you just take whoever lines up.
Well, a zone is an area, so there's different. Everybody's run on the same track, but obviously there's different zones depending on where they're lined up. But if I'm a center, if this is a center and this is a guard, we're all coming off like this. And if there happens to be a defensive tackle, we're going to take those steps to take him. And then wherever he goes, like we just take him further than he wants to go, the next guy rolls up to the second level, to the linebacker level. So that's what zone is. And they base themselves out of a wide zone system. And if the Raiders used to do it to us all the time. And you may get us for a yard, you may stop us for a yard or a minus yard, but you know what? It's going to be a yard, minus yard, 2 yards, 4 yards, 42-yard touchdown. That's how it works when that's the way you try to defend that. And the fact that they didn't truly adjust that over the course of the football game, that's not so much tipping your stances. That's just bad coaching.
I agree with that.
You see, Skip, you look at, as you call him, C.J. Dickinson.
Yeah.
C.J.
That's who he is.
He's
He's
named
C.J.
for the guy.
Dickinson.
You see C.J. Anderson go
Yeah.
6, 5, 5, 6. Todd Gurley goes 35 for the touchdown.
Good point, yeah.
There lies the problem. See, in a zone scheme, Skip, you don't block a man, you block an area. And what you're doing when you run out of one area, you make it very easy for the second guy to climb and get on your linebackers. You want him to have a struggle. You want it to be a struggle. Well, if you run out of the play, you just made Stink's job really, really easy. handle that, Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm going on the Van Der Esch, or I'm going on the Jalen Smith. So you make the job very, very easy. And again, Skip, if I know what you're going to, if Stink knows, when he gets in his stance and he knows, oh, look at the tackle. He's back a little bit. They about to run a game.
Right.
Oh, you going away. He's going to let, now when I talk to the tackles, I say ice cream. That means scoop. Or I would say burger and fries. That meant combo. So I'm telling what we going to do. Oh, you just make my job.
That's deep. I think I could have figured that one out.
Right.
I like it.
You know?
Well, they're defensive players, Skip. Don't give them a lot.
Yeah,
You can't give them too much credit. They're not real bright.
Defensive guys, they're like, oh, you got that man. So
I got it.
they have no long call.
Right.
Skip, I'm sorry. Sorry it happened to your team.
I'm very happy that they bragged about all their little secret tells that they figured out, because they get to come to Jerry World next year for a regular season game. We'll see if they run tell that at Jerry World.
And put it on you
We'll see.
again. You want them to put it on you again. You
I
won it three
want
times in a row.
We've already got a case of due on that
You won it
game.
3 times in a row.
I want it this one. That's what I want. We'll see what happens.
How does that work in the NFC Championship for them?
Well,
they get to watch it from the couch. Are you having them over to your couch to watch it? Or?
I don't care about
No?
it anymore.
No one's
We'll
in-
see. I hope they win it all now, because they have to come play us in another game that counts next year.
Oh, so you want to have bragging rights, say you beat the Super Bowl champs, huh?
So the greatest zone blocking, no offense to your 90s offensive lines, but the greatest line I ever saw was the 90s Cowboys line. And it was loaded with elephant blockers who they were straight zone. They just lined up, and whatever you saw across from you, you just obliterated it. And Emmitt Smith couldn't find holes. He couldn't run to holes, so they just literally called it Emmitt left and Emmitt right, handoff or toss, whichever way. They didn't pull, they mauled. And they were so physical at the point of attack, they blew people off the football, and Emmitt was 5'9", and he could duck and dart behind those elephants, and you couldn't find him until he was 5 yards into your secondary, and then you were in big trouble. So that's how they did it. But I'm going to defend this Cowboy defense, because they finished 5th in the league against the run. So they were doing something right, because they had just shut down Seattle. They were the number 1 rush attack in pro football. Were they doing it completely differently? Were they coming in with different kind of blocking schemes? Did the stunts work against Seattle? Because they got a grand total of 73 yards rushing in the previous Saturday night playoff game at Jerry World, right? And when Sean Payton came to Jerry World back as the end of November on a Thursday night, remember what happened? They were one of the top rushing teams in football. They managed 65 total rush yards in that game in a 13-10 game. So they were doing something right, but I agree with you. You have to adjust to what you're seeing, because the way to beat the zone team is you got to have anchors. You got to just stay put. You got to fight fire with fire, physicality with physicality. You don't need to trick that front. You need to attack that front.
But you got to do what you do, Skip. This is what they've done all year, so you don't get away from what you've done all year. That's what got you to this point.
I would like to have seen at least 1 or 2 run blitzes where you just send those 2 backers as hard as you can into those holes, just to screw up the zone blocks, just to force them to make choices that are hard to make.
Right, really, but those are the same things. When you run the run blitzes against a zone, you're going to get, the same thing's going to happen to you. You're going to get eviscerated. I think the issue that you get into when you're trying to defeat a team like that is you have to muddy the second level looks. So you have to play tight. You have to play, like you said, a pillar that can't be moved.
Yep.
And you have to, between the 2 guys or the 3 guys that are running a zone, you have to make it like, who should come off? Should we hesitate?
Correct.
What happens? And when that happens to you, then all of a sudden that second level, you don't get to it, and you don't create those wide open cutback lanes that they were creating in those. So the run blitz stuff against the zone team is not great. That blitz stuff and that pinching stuff and looping stuff is great if you're playing against a man team.
Right.
Right, because you pick guys off, they can't get the second level. Guys have free run lanes at the linebacker position to tackle your running back, but not against a team that bases out of
Y'all
zone.
got to tell Washington. Y'all got to tell Washington you got a cute trailer up in Dallas, so you better have somebody that can anchor it down, that can hit a knee and he ain't moving. Because unless you got that, they're going to get y'all up out of there.
We have had that. And this is just me. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes stopping the run is just about fire and desire. You just have to want to stop it more than they want to block you. And sometimes that's what it is, and I thought my defense just didn't show up.
Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think happened more than anything. I think the league has changed in that everybody says we want to stop the run, but really what they want to do is they want to play nickel and dime. They want to stop the pass, right?
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. And I think sometimes you look at the Rams and you see the weapons on the outside and you see the big throws down the middle of the field and you see the matchups they get with a wide receiver on a linebacker or a running back on a linebacker, and you get so nervous about that stuff that you're saying, hey, we're going to stop this.
Right.
And here's how we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it by we're going to bring guys. We're going to pressure Jared Goff. We're going to do this. And what ends up happening is they just line up and hand it off because that's what the Rams really like to do. And the next thing you know, you get thunderstruck in the mouth. And even when you're up 7-3, they've run the ball down the field twice. And you're sitting there going, man, we're seeing how they're possessing the ball. We're going to take this from a 12-possession game to an 8-possession game. We got to throw the football on the offensive side. We don't have the time to establish our run. I think they got duped. Both sides of the coaching staff. I think the offensive coaching staff with Jason Garrett got duped, and I think the defensive coaching staff got duped as well.
Yeah, despite all that, you're talking about like it was a 50-point game. It was an 8-point game.
It could have been.
It was 8.
It could have been.
It was 8.
And
it also could have been tied.
They took a knee. It could have been over 300 because
I'm already thinking about a rematch for next year.
Yes.
Mark, good to have
I
you.
won a game by one once. You know what? I got a W.
Yeah, it
dub.
does work that way. Good to have you. Speaking of getting the W, it's tonight a must-win for Luke Walton. We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Well, the Lakers are struggling big time without LeBron in the lineup. They're 3-7 without the King, including a loss to the lowly Cavs on Sunday. Tonight, they'll host another terrible team, the Bulls, and there's speculation that Luke Walton's job could soon be on the line. Yahoo reports Magic Johnson could use the Lakers' recent bad stretch of games as an example to show owner Jeannie Buss why Luke should be fired. Shannon, will Luke's last game be tonight if they lose?
No, I think he should get an opportunity to get LeBron back into the starting lineup. Now, I remember last week someone told me, I don't know who it was, I don't know who said it, but they said they were a good team regardless of who played, whether it's LeBron or Rondo. We are a very good team regardless.
Who said that?
I don't know who said it, Skip. I'm just saying what somebody said.
Well, I think you're trying to quote one of those current Lakers.
What?
Josh Hart.
Oh, he said that?
He said that.
He was the one that said that.
No.
How good are the Knicks?
He's on your phone right now.
Yo, you're right. You're right.
Checking in.
Yeah, I'm stop. Why you dry snitching?
No, I can't help it. I can't. It's right in my sight line.
Yeah, it wasn't in your sight line. You had to look over here. Why are you telling people that I'm looking up information before I got ready to talk? You dry snitch an awful lot,
Did
Skip
you
Bayless.
write your own notes? I've never seen those
did.
before.
Putting in the work today.
Oof.
I've never seen anything like this. Skip Bayless, how long have you been doing this?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You done
I
told
want to hear
everybody.
it. Is he going to last? I want to know.
Yes, he's going to last.
Okay.
And I believe that they will give him an opportunity to have LeBron back. And LeBron threw a monkey wrench in the program. I mean, him getting hurt, knowing that he was going to be gone for 3 weeks, it might be even a month when it's all said.
I thought he tweeted, dodged a bullet
He
back
did-
in no time.
He didn't
What was
tear-
that about?
He didn't tear it off the bone and gone 3 months. He just going to be gone 1 month.
Well, that's a long time for a
Well,
little tweak of the groin.
All I know is when LeBron was there, they were the 4th seed. Now that he's been gone, they're the 8th, they're the 9th
They're
seed.
out.
They're the
out
9th
of the
seed.
playoffs.
So I'm just
as
trying
we
to figure out how do you get to say you're a good team? Now everybody keeps telling me, Jenny, this is what everybody told me, even Skip Bayless. Oh, the Lakers have a much more talented team.
They do.
Than the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Well, if you meet the same fate as the Cavs met last year when LeBron didn't play or when he didn't play 2 years ago, how much better are you?
Maybe the Cavaliers had something to prove at Staples the other night.
They had nothing to prove. They proved it. That without LeBron James, the Lakers are exactly who and what we thought they were. The same team they were last year and the year before without LeBron.
Do you recall that it was widely reported back in early November that Magic Johnson called in Luke Walton and admonished him about the sluggish start by the Los Angeles Lakers, then featuring one LeBron James? Do you remember that? That was the first sign that, I don't know, Luke, who was inherited by Magic didn't hire him, right? He didn't pick him. So that was the first sign that all will not be well down the stretch. But it is also widely reported that Jeannie Buss just likes the heck out of Luke Walton, and I'm sure she does. And he seems like a fine guy, and I'm sure she enjoys occasionally going to dinner with him and just shooting the breeze with him because he's fun to talk to and with. I get all that. But in the end, I think Magic would like a more experienced head coach.
But what's he going to do now? I mean, the guy that's on the bench is Brian Shaw. Okay, he's going to use Luke's principle or the principle that he learned from Phil Jackson. How did it work out for Brian Shaw in Denver, Skip?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure it'd be Brian Shaw.
Well, who are they going to bring in?
I don't know. Just somebody with a little more weight
during
and
the season.
Experience. Well, you just don't know.
I'm going to see if the Lakers going to get the trifecta.
Yeah.
Now, they've already lost to the Knicks and Cavs.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do with the Bulls.
Yeah.
The third worst team, because the Cavs are the worst team record-wise in the NBA. They lost to the Knicks. They were coming off had an 8-game losing streak, and now they got the Bulls. Now watch Lauri Markkanen.
Okay, and then guess what happens after that? You got at Oklahoma City, at Houston, then Golden State back at Staples, and then Minnesota comes to
It
Staples.
doesn't matter who plays.
Yeah. Huh.
We're a good team.
Yeah.
We just need to lock in.
Yeah.
That's what I was told, Jenny. I don't know how true it is, Jenny. You know,
So-
my grandma used to say, boy, stop speaking behind people. What she meant by that, Jenny, is repeating what I heard someone say. I'm just telling you what someone told me. They are a good team, and once we lock in, we the deal with, so it doesn't matter who plays.
I wonder if behind closed doors, LeBron is cheering every time the Lakers lose.
LeBron knows what he
possible?
is. See, LeBron don't need to. See, LeBron
Does this set up LeBron to make his big MVP case now?
LeBron doesn't
Maybe?
get high or low because
Yeah.
we know who
Does this
and what
take
we
the
are.
pressure off LeBron because he can say, I don't have
What
any
is
help.
pressure?
I don't
you
have
know what
any help."
pressure is, Skip?
Yeah.
Pressure is what you feel when you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me LeBron James don't know what's
Yeah.
going on?
Pressure is being 3-6 in the NBA Finals
There you
and
go.
dreading
There you
3-7.
go. There you
That's
go,
that's
Skip, baby.
some
There
pressure.
you go.
What is it? Pressure is what?
It's what you feel when you don't know what the hell you doing.
I like that. That makes sense.
And LeBron James know absolutely what's going on.
Really?
But I need these young guys to show me. They say it doesn't matter who play. Now I need to see it.
Okay, well, speaking of talking trash, should the Rams be talking trash to the Saints before the big title game? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. When the Saints and Rams met earlier this season, Marcus Peters was torched by Michael Thomas and got called out by Sean Payton. Peters responded by saying he'll see Payton in the playoffs and they'll have a nice bowl of gumbo together. Then yesterday, Peters tweeted, "It's gumbo week, let's eat." He later deleted the tweet. So Shannon, should he have tweeted that?
But I ain't got no problem with it. But don't delete it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have some grammatical errors or something like you spell check left you out. You know, hey, own up to it.
Own it.
Now, I get it. You know, Michael Thomas hit him up for over 200. But he told Sean Payton, yeah, I like that what you was talking on the sideline. We'll see you down the road. Yeah. We have a nice bowl of gumbo.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Hey,
You got
own
it down.
that. Yeah.
You got the whole thing down. You got the whole speech.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Allen Iverson practice speech, right?
I got to, Skip, I don't have a, look, you talk, like you said, whatever you need to get you motivated, but you're going to have to play better than what he played last week. Because Michael Thomas coming, and they're going to find you, bro.
All I know is he could talk big because he knew who was coming back to have his back, and that would be Mr. Aqib Talib. Because to me, of those two cornerbacks, I fear Aqib Talib.
Oh, yeah.
He is the truth.
I tell you
he
what,
is for real.
If he pull out a flip phone on the Aqib, they're going to fight. I
Yeah.
bet you they fight.
He would fight him.
And you better not wear a chain either.
I don't think he's going to be pulling out anything on Aqib Talib because I think he's going to have some trouble with Aqib Talib, and I think Aqib's going to be on him much of the game. Wouldn't you bet on that?
Probably so, but they don't normally travel. They don't normally, flip, have a guy, you just play aside.
Yeah.
But I'm anxious to see. Marcus Peters, he blew a lot of assignments on Saturday night, Skip. I don't know if you noticed it, but he blew a lot of coverages. And if you do that, I mean, that was Dak throwing to the guys, and so they missed it.
Yeah.
Drew Brees won't miss it.
Really?
No.
Oh, Dak threw for 266 and touchdown, ran for a
That
touchdown.
last
Don't do that, Skip.
I've-
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.